cut it. Rich,
That's what they brought it down for.
this is the refinish guy, huh? Oh, that cockpit looks good. I got to double the price on those cockpits.
I'm talking to him.
Nice.
He says, we put this here. He says, we got to fill in all the holes we're going to dig on the side.
With rocks? With concrete?
Yeah, they got to put this.
Is that the one you hit the pole with?
Yeah, that's the one.
This is the one. That came out perfect.
The decals are all blistering and coming off and what.
Who made these decals?
Oh, this guy over in Pennsylvania someplace.
They didn't stick, huh?
No! I mean, they stuck. But then I
Then the edges curl
and
up.
then the edges start curling up. Underneath, I used hot stuff to glue it down.
Yeah.
And over here, see? All of this, it's all lifting up.
Ah.
It's the story of my life. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but it looks nice, though.
Yeah, from a distance, you know, you stay 10 feet away and it looks good. That's all.
No, that's good.
What curled up?
He had issues with the decals.
See right here and over
curling
here
up.
and all of this, it's lifting. They're all lifting up.
Did you call him up and ask him if there's any?
Did you put clear coat over it?
Yes, that's the problem.
Now, what did you put for the clear on this? Dope or automotive? Did you
No,
put
I used
automotive?
dope.
Dope? Okay.
I couldn't get a straight answer from anybody on how to use the automotive, so I didn't venture into anything like that.
So that's the one that was your.
This is the one that I
This
caught.
tip, yeah.
Yeah, he hit the fence at Brodax,
So-
yeah.
When you stripped it, was it originally a dope finish?
Oh yeah.
Did you just use acetone with
Yeah.
sponges? And,
Yeah, I used acetone.
Acetone and
Take the
sponges,
cowls.
yeah.
It's decent. It's
Well,
it's not that good.
I know it's a good
All
fine
of this is starting to blister again over here and everything. I said, I wasn't going to go crazy, you know. But it looks okay, you know. So it's a.
Well, it looks nice and clean now. Before it was looking like a little bit of a warbird look,
Yeah,
like
well,
my
it
plane
was
had the
9 years
warbird
old.
look. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. I mean, and we're flying it every day, so it's not like it's a taxi cab for you and me. Yeah, it still looks good. That canopy came out nice. I got to admit, that came out nice. You should have double his pay.
You did a nice job.
You should get 2 slices of pizza out of that. Oh, Marana, Marana.
Use the airbrush, okay?
That looks good, baby.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, it looks nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
No,
looks better than mine.
But I wanted to put a little, you know, smoke here.
all the
You know, a little jazz. I couldn't use the airbrush. I went nuts.
Why don't you bring that airbrush over my house? Let me clean it
This is
for you.
A Kaiwa, Japanese one.
Iwata.
Oh,
Iwata, yeah.
It's a great, you know, it's the best. I couldn't get it to work.
Nah, you just you gotta clean it.
Practice on something
But it
besides.
didn't work. Joe.
He does to the airbrush what I do to the
I
pens.
cleaned it. I took it apart.
I don't have to worry. I clean my airbrush at the end of using it. I learned that the hard way, John.
that's right. You got to clean them.
If only I cleaned my pens as good as the airbrush. Oy, oy, oy. John Pothy had chewed me out.
That's what it was. It was their bench.
You all fueled up and ready to go?
So we borrowed one, and the Koreans took another one here.
Yeah, we gotta go confiscate a bench.
No.
Because the end of the month, we're out
Oh
of here.
yeah, so forget it.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't.
Then don't even bother.
No,
All that work.
it saves us the trouble of bringing it back.
Yeah.
Still hot.
Well, as long as it doesn't bite your nose, that's okay. You don't want to start the day off with a black chicken. It looks great in the air. That Spitfire, when you get it up high, oh my! Yeah, she's still gonna be hot. There you go.
Can't believe it. The pool is going to open up next month.
Hard to believe. his roundels really show up against the sky too. Second flight, Joe Adamusco. New Spitfire. Now that I've seen it twice, I'm impressed even more. Has a nice sound too. Sometimes the sound doesn't come across on the video like it does in real life, but it's a really nice sound. And I think Joe looks pretty happy. Now, a serious thing about that glow plug. When you try to take the battery off and you start unscrewing the glow plug, the best thing is screw it back in like I did. Just turn the battery, tighten the glow plug, and shut the engine off. Hold your finger on the uniflow or the pressure line. Because anytime you go to fool around and tighten it and then get the battery off, I don't know, that gets high risk, especially with a new plane and a new motor. I just would rather have time to rethink it. I'd rather call a timeout. But when we flew Joe's, well, I wish I could remember when. It was in Middlesex, and we were bench running the engine for the first time, and whoop, the plug came out. I thought, uh-oh. And then it happened to me, so lack of maintenance. Now what's going to make the Spitfire even better this year, last year because of the rules, we were forced to fly on 021s, and then at the Nats we switched over to solids, and that was not what I was looking for, but I don't know if it really hurt me that bad or not. I like to use it for an excuse, but maybe it isn't. But this year, to fly realistic 018 lines on it, on this ship right here. Let's see now. I don't know what he's got for the fuel consumption here. I think he's monitoring the fuel consumption. I just worked my way into it. I think he stopwatched it. Got that nice third corner like mine does. Mine certainly was. That was one of the strong features of the model. I love that. Any plane with a long tail moment arm, especially this one with the long tail, has that nice corner. Now let's see how this is. First full pattern for Joe Adamusco, second flight. Was funny, Rich was putting a flag. We don't have our barrel here. Putting a flag in the dirt. It looked like he was raising a flag at Iwo Jima there. The 90 Spitfire of Joe Adamusco. Boy, that name really shows up good on the bottom. Spitfire. Well, Bob Green, Rich Walbridge, Jim Varno. You got something to look forward to. All of those people have Spitfires well on the way on construction. And we always love sharing the pictures and photos, and I will get video out to them as soon as we get this edited down. This is really I think a very special plane. He's gonna have a nice life of stunt. Now, Joe, of course, the thing we always deal with Joe is he's got a heavy hand. So maybe the fact that it's a little nose heavy is not going to be a problem at all. Or maybe he can get the lighter spinner. Jim Lee has the lighter spinners, by the way. Boy, it sure looks like a Spitfire. And definitely not going to run out of fuel. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think the way it took off just like it was on a carrier deck. It looked like he's got the gear position pretty close to where it should be. See, this is what I like. You really can make nice landings with these. Ooh, nice. Look at that. Oh my God, nice. How'd it feel, Joe?
Little handle adjustment. Got a long enough engine run, that's for sure.
You got a ton of extra engine run.
40 seconds, and that was a pretty rich run, I thought.
You could tweak that in a little bit more for the next flight. Isn't that a beauty to touch, Rich? It even feels nice.
Lights on? That power that thing is.
It's unbelievable, isn't
Hardly
it?
running.
I know.
It's hardly running.
It's like you, hardly running.
And I got almost a 9-minute engine.
Now, how big is this tank? This the big one, you mean? Oh, I told you, you only need... You,
Well, I'll take care of that.
yeah, no, I mean,
No, I did.
I know a guy makes tanks in his sleep. He looks a lot like you.
You know what? After I talked to you,
Yeah.
I took my 6 3/4 ounce tank, put it on the scale, put my 8 1/4. Guess which one was lighter?
Yeah.
The smaller one I had to make out of a bunch of pieces. It's just soldered piece after, you know.
Well, we could...
That's what it is. But at any rate...
Now, how does it feel about turn? Is it turning? It looks like it's turning like you're stalling it on insides.
Well,
Are the hinge lines taped?
I got hinge line taped. I may need little... well, my handles needs adjusted for one. I think I got to move the lead outs back a little bit. The airplane has pull, but I'm not hitting anything. But I observe what you did.
You're overturning it on insides, and maybe you could try just lowering the cable one notch.
Yeah. And I don't know which way the air was moving, but that has an effect.
Well, the air isn't affecting anything, and the wing the wing is way more level than mine was.
And that's with a legit 2-ounce tip, meaning you put it on a scale and put the digital.
Yeah, the real way, not the fake way.
So
Yep.
It's 2 ounces.
Okay, but it feels solid, right? No, doesn't look soft anywhere. Nah.
And that engine, it brakes and then it settles down. And when you're coming like out of your wing or you're kind of doing a dive, the engine was.
Oh, I love my 90s. I love the both of them.
I like it. I'm happy with this.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been waiting a long time.
And you know what it is? The 90 is really for a semi-scale plane, so it lets you build that big body.
Yeah.
That, to me, that's the advantage. If you just have a straight liner. Oh, look at this. Uh-oh, they're going to do Wendy's driveway over. Getting nervous every time I see that stuff. All right, so you're going to make a handle adjustment. Jackabone's getting ready to take a first flight.
A test flight?
Doesn't it feel good just to have it over with?
Damn right.
Now you can enjoy the model.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can.
It is impressive. Just how big it is. Wait, that engine. It's hard
I'm
to-
telling you, that engine is on a semi-scale. If you had a big anything, but the big Spit with that engine, oh man.
Now, should I try to bail those way now? I mean, it can't hurt. I could start with everything.
Well, do what
Yeah,
you
I'll
think.
tell you what, did you-
How do you feel? How does it feel?
Well,
See,
you know, I have to get more flights on. But see, the thing is, when I'm not, I don't fly with you every day. And when I'm not with you, then okay, what do I do to bail stuff out? I know I need a spinner, aluminum nuts and washers. And
well,
all
before you leave, we'll get all that done.
that. And then that thrust bonnet on the engine.
The thrust bonnet. In fact, let me go get all the light hardware and just give it to you.
Well, let me see what you're talking about. 'Cause-
First of right now, I would just fly it.
I'll just fly, get some more time
today,
on it.
Yes.
Yeah,
There's anything
but I'll
to
give you the stuff to take
You
home.
want a little bit more on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It turns nice, but it's not jumpy.
No, not at all.
And
No.
it's-
It don't
and
jump.
Of course, I'm not flying it very fast.
And like on triangles, it's you. You're doing that.
Well, I'm trying not to scratch it too.
Yeah.
You know? That's all important.
Do you have any slop in these controls?
Yeah.
Okay, you got the normal amount of slop? Like 1/8 of an inch? Oh, that's perfect.
good.
Yeah.
I don't know what my.
I had to wear in it a little bit.
No, that's close enough. That's
Yeah.
close enough.
Go
That
The
is.
lead outs are. I think if anything, I may want to tweak him, but I don't know. You got to fly.
You got
it. Wind,
fly it. You get some more time. Then
What
you
I
start
do,
feeling-
fly it the way it is.
That's right.
Do you have a spare prop?
Oh yeah.
Okay, because I was going to say that's the one thing you don't want to not have. I have spare. I brought the props.
I got my spare prop.
You got one all painted up?
That's why I got it.
Hey,
That's why I got it.
I gave Wallbridge my
I
5-bladed
didn't
prop
want
for his
I didn't want
photo
to have
shoot.
My good prop up there.
Wallbridge is going to do a light pro. Oh yeah, yeah. Don't chip it all up.
Yeah.
You know, when the time comes.
Yeah. We do some photos at the end of the day. No. You gotta see. The problem is you got a lot of stones here too.
Yeah.
To start
Get
this the
some
first
time
I was
on the
like,
airplane. Then you start feeling what you want to do. That's it.
Joe,
You got to remember to hook your arm out because.
I was just gonna say, and you know what you gotta watch? Loose shirt. Tuck your
Oh,
shirt
yeah,
in.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That prop arc is not far from a loose shirt.
All right, man. I'll tell you, boys.
All right.
Good. Is
flies
that
great.
good first day, right?
That flies great. It
I
looks
mean,
beautiful in the
well,
air.
Obviously, the tank is too big, so I can do some work. on it.
But you could make a tank, or use a carbon. Take my spare tank, use that. I don't care.
I'll put the. I would have. I'll just have. I'll find out how much it really. Really. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
The sound outside the circle, the sound is radial.
That is. And I.
Now you picture this model. This model with a tune pipe would ruin the whole plane. It just doesn't have a Spitfire sound.
It's got that. Oh man, I love it.
Pittsburgh
I've been waiting.
Pittsburgh Steeler linebacker. Take a drink, Joe. Yeah, spit it all over your plane.
It's beautiful in the
In the
air.
tank, it's a Uniflow tank.
Yep.
Just ram air.
Now, the thing you got to watch, and I mean it, watch that you're not getting fuel stains up on the nose.
I got stained. I don't know how I got them, but I got it on the outside.
No, if you do,
Got it here, and I got dog.
okay, if you do, the cure, don't even fool with trying to figure it out, because I spent the whole year figuring this out. Put a pressure fitting on it and run a tube up to it, like I did on mine. Then you're done. You're done. It'll never, well, from the header, go up to a vent, to another vent.
So you got to put a pressure fitting on it.
Exactly, but no, you put a pressure fitting on. What's a big deal?
Well, no, I know.
But what I'm saying, the motor run doesn't change at all. But what happens? Then you've eliminated, because once you get fuel stains on there, you're gonna be.
But since this is my very first take apart airplane, at the end of the game,
Yep.
you take it apart, you sand the top of the wing off, and you put another coat of clear. I mean, it's not a major thing.
I know.
It's not like doing one piece airplane.
No, it's not like this.
That's the way to go.
No,
It's a pain in the ass getting the push rod in, but once that's in, that's it.
but see now, I think most people, if you build one take apart plane, pay the price, you see the merit of it. But a lot of people, they complain and they don't see the merit. But then when you go to buff it out, you're done buffing and you watch a football game while you're buffing it. You don't go through all that.
And this is not as big as your bomber.
Oh
But
no.
You just handle it. Most of my planes are
Yeah.
what are they, 62, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's a
Little
beauty.
bit of difference. It's bigger. You got to watch so you don't break things or.
That's definitely a beauty, baby.
That run nice. smell something burning, like burnt toast.
The weeds are probably on fire or something. Well, somebody set a Korean on fire. I don't know. Look
Where
at
the hell
this.
they coming through there?
Yeah, look at this.
They don't even belong in there.
Nah, leave them. Don't get crazy.
I gotta put a.
If we'll buy a piece, I'll go to Home Depot and buy some of that string.
I got the stuff over there.
Because when I fly my plane, I want the string on the whole
But
port.
you think they'd use their head? They're not.
Oh, if I'm by myself, it's dangerous. You know, it's dangerous.
Hey, but I'll tell you what, man, that thing is solid as a rock. You could fall asleep and it'll fly low.
It's a good flying plane. Now you know how excited I was when I flew mine?
I like it. And I could do things. I mean, I could open the handle up to get more pop on it.
It lands like a pussycat.
Yeah. I could get some of those right there. See, this is shit to do. This is hobby time throughout the summer.
Yeah,
Test something.
exactly.
It's never done.
Exactly.
But I'm happy.
It should be. Flies
I'm
great.
happy.
And if that isn't a front row plane, then the guy judging is asleep at the switch. That is a true front row plane.
Yeah.
And I'm appearance, and I'm even tougher than the guys that think they know how to do it.
And but it's 72. And
You get it to 70 with no problem at all. I'll get 2 ounces out of the nose if you go
what
for
my 76 in there?
if you go for coffee. Joe, you won't like it with the 76.
What's that?
You will not like it with the 76 because the 90 is the whole thing with this plane.
That's where you're going.
That's
It's a 90 plane.
the 76 is not a 90.
No.
Rich Walbridge, where are you? Out in sunny California. Get that plane finished. Bob Green, get busy, baby. Jim Varno, get the buffing compound out. We need Spitfires. More Spitfires.
Is Varno building?
Varno's is done. He's got to buff it out.
Man, I haven't seen him for.
Yeah, he's still cranking along.
Get a Brodak silver with white to get that gray color.
Yeah. Now, do you have a 4-bladed prop?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I got all that.
If we want to take some pictures later, I brought my
Well,
4-bladed
I didn't
prop.
bring that stuff with me. We'll have a chance to do that. But I
If you
got my show
if you
prop
chip up some of these big props, what I'll do is I'll make a fake 5-blade, so we can both use it at appearance judgment. Remember that year we were 1-2? Oh man, was that priceless? The 1-2, baby.
Whatever you did, you hit the press lines, the moment arms, the tailor. I mean, a dozen years.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm
And,
sure.
You know, okay, there's something you got to wait for the special project that's not for, especially the 3/8 flaps.
Oh yeah, the
To get
3/8.
6-pound 3/8.
Yeah.
Sea grain. Beautiful.
Well, believe me.
Hey, Wendy, you doing next time? Do me a favor, will you?
What?
Well, that's okay. I'll see it fly in a video. I'd like to see.
I don't need to fly it. It's perfect. Joe, I know when it's wrong. You know, you're not.
I know you.
You're not going to run. You're not going to sneak one by me if there's something wrong with it.
Oh, that looks great. Turns nice.
But it's not only that it's straight right off the bat. That's nice. Because if it isn't, you got a week of frustration. That's nice. But the motor was right on the money. That there's nothing big like there's nothing to keep you
Even
from
though I
just
almost
flying out
flew
of.
with the glow plug starter.
Well, yeah, but
No, but
I'm not
that
worried
plug,
about
you know,
that.
The plug, I don't think the plug was loose. I think that,
You loosened
that
it.
clip fit so tight that
Yeah.
I used it as a wrench.
That's right.
So I got to work on that.
I notice you don't tighten the plug as much as I do. I use 25 pounds. I'm used to it because when I was in the Air Force, I was in the Air Force
You
and
know
we
what
used
the
a prop. Yeah, I know what the feel is for a 25.
Oh, I know what it's like to just put it in with one thread and run the engine too.
yeah.
Guess what? Oh, that thing that flies out like a 22.
All right, so that's a 4-stroke plug that you're using in it. Just check that this is, that's tight. Check another, when you get home, check that the 2 header screws are tight.
Yep.
After a day of running, you got the copper gasket in there? Mm-hmm. Okay, because once they seat, they're done.
Yeah.
And then snug up all the screws.
Let's see, I had checked my holes out here. You can see where the 90 needle
Yeah,
is.
well, that's okay.
Then I had one for the 76 with the bullshit Fox extension.
Yep, nah.
All that did was bing, throw props on.
Yeah, no kidding.
And then this one, the one in the middle is for the Rojet extension. You know, which is the whole.
Yeah. But what?
The whole thrust.
The one thing, here comes Brian. One thing you want to do: put another vent under here. Okay. Then when you're done, this one goes to the pressure.
You just to run your thing externally.
And then, yeah, make another vent right on
If I
top.
wanted to, I could probably snake it to.
Yeah, or sneak it through here.
Okay.
And then you just connect it to, and you'll never have a fuel stain. Another thing, too.
Well, how will that affect my engine room?
Won't affect it at all. Not a 90. You won't get those little white dots of fuel from it spitting out and everything.
Because I know I got some on top.
Dinger did a nice job welding these up, didn't he?
Yeah.
I got to give Scott a copy of this tape. Scott's doing all good stuff, baby. Spitfire.
Yeah, when you take the plug off, you know, the first time you put on, you crunch the gasket. All right. Turn the gasket over. Turn it over. Then you still can torque it down to 25 pounds, and that should be on a 25 pound, which is a good torque, and you won't have to worry about it coming loose.
Hey, that K&B motor that we set up for Billy started on the first flip.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Being worn out. I just
No,
didn't
they were
spend
great.
much time with them.
All right, so we're going to take a little break. Rich is going to do his. We'll get ready for Rich's first flight. Have some coffee. And admire the Spitfire. What a day. Day one of the Spitfire.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Right, next on the I'm going to fly my new plane today list is Rich Jacobone, his refinished Strega. Joe Adamusco is like a young kid that has a new lease on life here. Very happy for his first day out. We're hoping Rich Walbridge and all the other Spitfire owners are going to follow in that same path, the path to glory. Okay, now this is a model that he refinished. The old finish was off with acetone and paper towels. It's got the same engine in it, the PA61. And a windy pipe. Oh, here comes somebody with a motorcycle. How convenient. Is this a Kajeski? Let's see. Is that Kajeski? No. Nope, not Kajeski. Some outlaw. You can hear him. Never quite sure these guys that are interested in motorcycles. There we go. If you like pina coladas, da 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 da. First flight on the rebuilt Strega. Now he had to do extensive repair on the wingtip, permanent repair. A lot of retissuing, I know. Oh, we've started off the season, baby. Oh, easy, Rich, easy. We don't want to have the first repair of the season either. Now, there's never been a year in my life where the winter was longer or colder. So basically everybody at this field has had cases of cabin fever and, in my case, construction fever and paver fever, and it's been a long winter. Anybody that tells you there's global warming, it probably is, but not in Jersey. We had global ice on the pond this year, and I'm not sure. Since I'm not a rocket scientist, I'll leave that to those people to figure out. But I know one thing, I was cold, and my heating bill was over $1,000 3 months in a row, so I don't know. It's hard to convince me the polar ice cap is melting. Well, polar bears are sinking in the water, but I know they are, so. Anyway, let's see what Rich is gonna say after his first flight. Again, a lot of times when the rebuilt Novanta, as an example, a lot of times when you rebuild them, they fly exactly the same. A lot of times they don't. I don't know if this is heavier now or lighter. And I think the only thing he was kind of not happy with was the decal issue, but and that's a whole separate issue. Now we always like to interview the contestant after he knows he's had a successful first flight. We'll see if he's smiling after he lands. Oh, it's a beauty, baby. The guy that rode in on his, I assume it's a Harley, some kind of chopper thing. How'd it feel, Rich? Feel okay? Not as happy as that of Musco. You ready to go, Chicky?
Yeah.
Let's fly.
I hope I remember.
Or you were dreaming about me. No.
I was thinking
I asked Wendy, I said, what happened to Joe? We haven't seen him.
Now what we decided to do, and since John isn't here I can say, John decided he would take my van for free and we're going to get it up to his house. Brian is going to try to do some kind of little transmission jury rig thing on it. we'll see how that works out. And we hope it still has some life left in it, but I don't know. But see, John only goes, actually there's no reason for John to even fix it. He only goes, they live about a mile from the field, and you could drive that in first gear. It's all, you actually probably never get out of first gear anyway. But Brian thinks he can do some kind of flush on a transmission and maybe get it to shift again. I don't know, but I'm glad we got the new vehicle. Karen's happy. That's the end of that. And I'm sure John, who will enjoy having a new vehicle. Boy, it's good to be back at the field. We have had this incredible long winter, and it's like it never happened. You know, once you're back, you're back. And it's just really nice that, well, Rich has had a couple of flights now. His looks like nothing, not much changed anyway. I gave Joe some lighter spinner parts, and the little thrust cone I made up some special 90 parts that I had for spares, which I'm going to allocate to Joe. But boy, it reminds me that first day that I had my 90 out here, and I just fell in love with it. It just was something about it, not sure what, and it has nothing to do with anybody else's interpretation of a stunt pattern except mine, but I just thought it was cool. And it's the part of this event that I think inspires all of us, is that it isn't the same over and over and over. I think if it turned into Groundhog Day and you did the same thing over and over, no matter how good it was, it'd still be a groundhog. It'd still be Groundhog Day to somebody. I like having this new year coming up when we bring Chicky's plane out. One thing you can be sure of, it'll be an adventure, for absolutely sure. It always is. Just like that ride to Pennsylvania. Just never ends. Karen's home, she got a book. She bought a book about these planters. We're gonna need 600 annuals. Probably gonna be 5 trips to the nursery to get them. She is really gung-ho about landscaping. She's gonna do her vegetable garden. And boy, she had, after her career in civil service, I think she really deserves a great retirement. Brian Manow, Ferrari mechanic extraordinaire. Actually, he's been getting to drive those real hot Nissans. He's the service rep for those whenever they have a high-tech issue. He insists he does a test drive, and then of course it's out on a turnpike 100 miles an hour. And the thing I'm mad at, he doesn't take me with him. I was hoping he'd drive down the field someday, let me do some donuts in a parking lot here, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I took Brian's advice.
You know, they're giving everything away.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So
And then they threw in $700 worth of accessories
I have
for
a
nothing.
friend that went to
nobody's
the,
gonna treat you too bad because it's
he
too
went to the
easy
Toyota dealer, this friend of mine. He said there was nobody in the showroom.
No, when I was there, I was the only one in. Flight 3. The amazing Joe Adamusco Spitfire flying right off the bench, making me sick. Opening day here at Yankee Stadium, at Wild Hog Stadium. As the 23-inch tail moment arm snaps into position. See, I think Joe's going to adapt into this plane because he's so big and so strong. He always manhandles smaller planes. I think this is going to ultimately become his honey pie. Spitfire, as if you needed a sign to tell you what it was. Spitfire. You know, if I looked at this and didn't know it was balance and nose heavy, and I know it is, I wouldn't know. But I know part of that is Joe's given it a very strong Penn State linebacker input that most average people that are not as strong can do. And see, what makes this possible is he's basically got most of the things that I learned, as an example, a prop, all of the little trim issues like the slop in the elevator, the hinge lines tape, all of the stuff that just generic 101 bench trimming. The reason his plane, I think, is relatively successful is he's got the bench trim right. He's not out here Mickey Mousing around with everything. Boy, that elliptical wing sure looks nice in the air. It's a thing of beauty, wicked beauty as Joe calls it. A thing of wicked beauty. And as the sun is starting to come out today, this may be the first day we don't have flannel shirts on. I haven't had a no flannel shirt day in 8 months, I don't. 7 or 8 months. Now, until Joe tells me he wants to change something, my feeling is burn fuel. I think this is in close enough trim, and he can go home. I gave him all the lightweight parts that I have for the 90. He can get the Jim Lee spinner. That's a pretty good fit for this model. And fly stunt. Flight 3, Joe Adamusco, RAF, 1945.
I don't know.
I think Joe's got it too good. We ought to go let the air out of the tires on his car or something.
Cars go.
Well, you got multiple cars.
Kids and stuff. I'm probably paying $4 grand.
The guy that I'm paying for is my son. I was paying for my son.
That was a little bit on the lean side, but you heard. What you want to do is just put a prop on with more pitch. Leave the motor where it was and get a prop with more pitch. Guys are wasting all my good air. I could have been Nat's champ if I could fly once in a while. We ought to name this club the Air Hogs. The Wild Hogs have become the Air Hogs.
That thing's filled with.
They're going just like a.
You went one click too far.
I really screwed.
But even at a dead lean like
See,
that.
Now I know when it's fast, what it does, when it's over.
Right.
You got to find out sooner.
But when you get that, if you want to go faster and you're still in that range, don't touch the needle, change your prop. Just put a little more pitch or a little less diameter, like a 15.5 now, would give you 100 RPM.
I'm gonna try it. But,
Or you could take one of those props that I brought today.
I have a couple that I can work with.
Okay.
And,
That plane is flying right off the
I'll tell you,
bench.
Even at that speed, whoo, when you hit it, it wants to.
Well, I hope the other Spitfires that are in our Air Force are all going to fly right off the bench like this.
Well, is there anybody interested in building this 90 size?
Elliot's doing the plans, isn't he? I thought Elliot had all the
I sent him
templates.
all the shit I had.
And you got laser cut ribs, right? Once you see that engine run, it's hard not to want one in your Air Force. Now, if Jacobone was a real man, he'd bring the Stuka out so he could kick his butt a little bit.
So this engine you got your I-beam spit it's a 61 with the casting type case, correct?
What's that? Yeah, it's called a Jetfire. I got it in a car right now. When the air goes bad, I'll play around with it. While the air is good, work with the new planes. 'Cause it may stay good all day, who knows? I gotta listen to this, Joe. I gotta go to a friend's birthday party tonight. Tonight is his party. And of course, Karen and I have been going for dancing lessons. The whole idea of this is that we're gonna dance at this guy's party. She's so excited about it. Yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, we've been doing foxtrots and rumbas, but you know, I don't know what they're gonna do at this party. You know what this guy does though? He rides a Harley, right? He takes a van and they tow the bike out to the border of South Dakota and get a motel room. Then he rides to Sturgis and tells everybody he rode from Jersey. So everybody thinks he's ridden like 1,000, 2,000 miles or something.
A lot of people.
Oh, and then he gets back to the motel. He gets back to the motel and it's all full of guys with Harleys that can't make the ride. They tow the bikes out there.
You gotta be a hard that strong. I mean, there are guys who do it, but they're hard asses, and it's the way they drive. You have a motorcycle?
I had one for a short period, actually with my wife's.
Jacobone wants to get a Sportster.
I had an incident on Route 80, I think I told you, where the cars were coming out and people were merging in
Yeah.
the middle, and I was like, nowhere to go. And that was it for me. I didn't forget it. I didn't have much experience in that. Bad experience too soon.
Now that's like a hunting story where you shot one other hunter and you quit hunting.
Yeah. Hey,
One bullet in the leg and he stops being a hunter. Oh, what a day this turned out to be, Joe. And nice and cool. We don't have any of that awful heat yet. Oh my God. Could it be better? Here in hog heaven, the wild hog heaven. Where every day is 90 Spitfire day.
The air stayed in the same direction.
The air is great. What are you guys whimpering about?
I'm saying it was into the sun in the morning.
Oh yeah. Well, in the morning we know it's always that way. You can't even take video.
A lot of times it keeps moving with the sun too. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's my point.
Hey Joe, you know what Kent and I were thinking about doing? We were thinking about going out to Brodax some weekend when there's no contest. You know, just get like 6 or 8 guys to go out there, get a motel room for one night, drive out Saturday morning.
Before Brodax or after?
Well, we don't know. We're talking it over.
All right, we need to pick a time, you know.
Or maybe taking a Monday off or something where, you know, we could spend some time with John and Buzz. Go out there, use the circle.
Doesn't mind. I know Thursdays is like the day that he takes off. That's his.
Well, I'd have to clear it with him, but I'd certainly want to think about it.
He minds. His Plank Circus guys that come up there, they only come there on Thursdays when John's there because that's just the way it is for them.
Yeah, they know he's off, or he takes it off.
If you said, hey John, look, we want to come up fly with you on like a Thursday.
Well, it'd be nice if you could fly Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and you know, maybe only have 20 guys at the field instead of a contest. That would be great. You know what it'd be like having a track day at a racetrack.
I'd meet you.
You know,
You know, and then you know what, John? I'll tell you the kind of guy he is. He'd mow, he'd cut the, he'd do everything.
Oh, absolutely.
Number one sample. You got the hard thing. You got this. You that.
Yep.
That would be.
Joe, when you buy an R1, you get a year of free track days. The same thing with the VMAX. They have a chip that limits it to 138 miles an hour, and everybody takes the chip out.
Well, now
What the hell good is that?
The guy I work with is Polish, and he's got a friend buys 2 of them, sends them over to Poland.
Oh.
So they launch control one of them, blow up the trans. That Nissan don't want to know about it. And you're
Yeah,
talking
right.
20 grand.
Yeah, I bet you are.
So now they're shipping it back here, and they're going to sell it. Just that, you know, so they don't have to have it repaired. They'll sell it as is or something.
How many miles do you actually have of driving them? Up and down a parkway? Yeah. They let you have a full tank of gas or anything?
School, you mean?
Yeah. They don't let you drive
We
it?
drove it in the parking lot.
Oh!
So
And they were watching
they
you.
told us if anything happened or anything, you would lose your career with Nissan. Because supposedly in California, there must have been some guys that had an incident. And
Oh,
really-
man. California, that
They get
figures.
limited number of cars for teaching.
Yeah.
So they, you know, it's not like you
Right,
just get.
right. But it's cool when you do buy an R1, you get to join like the equivalent of Pampa for a year. They pay it, and they get you some track days. But you know, who the hell?
When's your delivery date on that?
Next week.
Next week. A
Wow.
year and a half ago, anybody could get anything.
Yeah. Well, that's a different ball game.
And it's making it hard for the salespeople. That's why, you know.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
And
That ball was quick.
I'm sure it is.
Now this is the take apart?
Yeah, you got to unsolder bolts.
did you get any kind of free maintenance or oil changes with that car now?
A year of free oil changes and a couple other little Mickey Mouse things they threw
Just
in.
a year, have any tire guarantees or anything?
They gave us so much paperwork. I got a book. It's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, a lot of that is through the dealership though. Like the
Yeah, you got to go to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I think Joe Rich ended up a little this run. I wanted him to do the needling, so this would kind of get friendly for him. And it's really friendly to begin with. This is one of the easiest to tune motors I've ever used anyway. It's about as idiot-proof as it gets. Very similar to an old Tiger 60 where you just get it up on the cam and back out a click and you're done. I think I even have on video when we went up to Brian's showroom to see when that new sports car came in. Boy, that thing is half carbon fiber and some of the cool features it has, really nice. If that doesn't look like a Spitfire, I don't know what does. I think Rich Walbridge is painting his blue. Last time we got photos from him, he had the invasion stripes on it. He was mixing his own color blue. I look forward to seeing that all in one piece. Spitfire! Beautiful graphics on this plane. Beautiful graphics. Now I don't know what paint job Bob Green has in mind for his, but the cool thing with the Spitfires is there's never two the same anyway. Got a million choices of paint jobs. You actually have 22,800 choices. I don't think they ever painted two Spitfires the same. And they made over almost 23,000 of them. And they were in every Air Force in the world, Indian Air Force. I don't know, you couldn't find something exotic that would float anybody's boat. The only thing you really don't have with a Spitfire that you have with like a P-51 are the choices of the Reno racers. Because there really has never been that I know of, a Reno. There was one, but it wasn't painted. They just put numbers on a camo job. That's the only one I've ever seen. But now that they have that Tiger Cat flying at Reno, it's almost worth going to Reno to see that fly. And because we have a new vehicle, that might not be out of the question. Never sure what's coming up on windy videos. I don't even know what's coming up, so if I don't know, and if Karen doesn't know, we try to keep each, like that day, going out to Pennsylvania. What an adventure. What an adventure that was. You really don't see it on the video, but we really took forever to get home. It was unbelievable. And we hope Windy's van, like the Novanta, will live on in infamy. John DeTavio will get some years out of it, some enjoyment, whatever. Now behind us, they got some kind of crazy thing going on here with the kids and baseball, and the whole parking lot is filled up in the last hour or so while we've been flying. This is Flight 4. Joe Adamusco just waiting to run out of fuel. Flight 4, day 1 at Pal Park. You're a happy camper, huh? What's it feeling like? Good? Well, oh, that helps. And you're right into the sun, too. See, we're flying. This is the issue here all the time. We're right into the sun. Yeah, we're going to try to get some runs on the old Jetfire. See if that works out. He's got his big brother. Big brother's watching. He better behave today. What's that? I could go either way. I got the tunnel. I could tune pipe or not. Yeah, at the end of the day, we'll line them up for some photo shoots. And we're going to try to get a couple runs on the Jetfire. This is the first time we've ever run and flown the Jetfire in this plane. So, again, it's first day for that motor, first day for Joe's plane. Been kind of a nice day weather-wise. Everybody's getting flights. Great way to start the season.
Bar stock and all that? Or?
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. And I brought a bunch of props. I don't know what prop's going to wind up wanting to be on here, but we're not going to find out.
This is effectively any of the old ones you sent back and had redone would be the same thing, right?
Not the same, but similar. There's newer metallurgy in the piston, I think. Again, I
mean, the old cast case that you had back.
Oh yeah, he updates it. Yeah, he puts the new stuff in.
It's basically going to be the
Oh,
same
sure, sure. In fact, I got one. I think I'm going to send it back to have it. If this runs the way I want, I'll have it updated.
You got a Rojet 76, right?
I often, you know, it's nice as the other case.
Depends on how much of a theory is to it. Like, if you know the machine, all the aluminum is the same, it'll cool different. Doesn't mean this won't work or that won't work. But see, Doug with those bar stock engines, he's not joined at the hip with some guy that can do investment castings for him. Where's he getting these castings for the case?
I'm not sure.
So, you know, that outlet or that source can dry up when their prices go up, and you say, well, you know, because if you're doing this as a business,
well, the minute you make it a business, it's.
I don't think if you had one or the other, I could probably.
but you gotta really run it with
It's
the
a
wrong
business, it's
fuel, or
different.
you gotta crash it to destroy
And
one.
now this is a little lighter and smaller.
They're definitely light. Yeah. It's smaller. So if you wanted to make a real point to nose, maybe that would be something. And I got the new plane set up for this engine, but I want to have some flights first.
I got it.
Hey, yeah, wait, did you,
What?
well, I know you read it. Brad Walker's philosophy on smaller wings and the singing and all that shit with the...
You can have a lot of theories. Build a plane, if it flies good, that's the theory. You build a Spitfire, flies good, then it's a
That's the thing.
If it works for you.
If it works for you, great. Ready? This is the first one you did with the water base clear?
Yep.
How'd it work out weight-wise?
Weight-wise,
you weigh it?
it's excellent. I got a couple of spots turning yellow, and I don't know why, so I'm going to give them a couple more.
Where are they, on the bottom or on the top?
Near the elevator fillets.
Oh,
This is interesting, that what they call bookbinder,
marbling.
marbling,
Yeah, that's cool.
That's nice. Pretty.
Now,
Is that decals or?
everybody's going to
No,
ask
that's
you how
okay.
you did that.
That's simple. That's the easiest effect in the world.
Yeah, you roll up a paper towel and
Saran wrap in this case.
yeah, saran wrap.
You just dab
The Harley guys do that.
You
Yeah.
dab the silver and then you hit it with candy. And the candy only picks up on the silver. The black stays there, so you get the.
But that's
the grain
painted,
effect.
right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
not
it's
a
all
decal.
painted.
But
Yeah. The only decal on this is the pineapple on the tail.
Oh, okay.
Where you going, Johnny?
that's significant.
Where's Johnny headed out? He's leaving?
The pineapple is like a revolutionary symbol.
That's a Greenaway thing.
Yeah, he used to call us all pineapples.
He wouldn't call
Basically
you an
me,
asshole
but
or a bastard.
but I guess a pineapple was racially correct or something. Not sure about that.
Those that know him knew what it meant. You know?
I've heard the expression, go scrub your ass with a pineapple.
Oh,
That would be a little...
I'm not sure that's exactly what he had in mind, but
but it was a substitution for asshole. So
yeah.
no, I've had it on the last 3 planes since he passed. And I got a pack of 50 of them, so you're going to see it for a while.
What motor you running in?
It's a 67.
Okay, Joe got a flight while we were packing stuff up. Now what's going to happen is we need to get more time on the, I don't want to go in and get a lean run right away. I want to get more time on that engine. I have Elliot's engines coming next week to break in, so I'll use the Spitfire to break them in. And it's a great test bench plane. Just great for, you can swap the engines out in a matter of minutes. Joe has had, the plan is Joe has had the day of his life. Huh? You got new tail feathers, huh? Now, how could you do that in a million years? Look at this guy. He sucked in a feather. Is that telling you you're a coward? So are you a happy boy?
Oh yeah, thanks for the help.
Oh man, Joe, I am so happy.
Hey, Brian, thank you.
I am so happy. The way this worked out,
Just have to work with it. You
could it have been any better?
I love it. It's an easy airplane to fly.
Easy. That's the key to this whole program, easy. Nice and easy. I'm so glad this worked out great for Joe. Hey, Jimmy's suiting up for his first flight, getting lined up. Not sure. I think he said it was never in the air before, but Joe's had about to set the record for a new Spitfire. Shit, if England could make them that easy to fly, they would have won the war a year earlier.
Seriously. Very easy.
Does it get any easier than this? You didn't even have to tighten the prop. Now that's what I call, let alone change
Well,
it.
because you told me to check it.
Well, but yeah, but
Otherwise,
I hate to see you get whacked on the first day. I hate to see you get whacked,
I'll
period.
get accustomed to it. But
See, you could remove that block, but you got to cut the fins. You can play. You got.
You gave me some ideas.
I think you got about 2 ounces.
And the worst that can happen is I got to buy a new engine.
No, the worst could happen. You put it back. So this never been in the air, Jim, this first flight?
No, I haven't even really checked neutral yet.
Do you want to bench run it or anything? I saw in the videos in the thing you were bench running it.
I bench ran it plus ether broke it in.
Oh, okay.
And it runs.
This is Ether's motor. Brian Ether?
Yep.
Well, maybe I could send him a nasty email today. Tell me.
It was ether. And then it went to, who's the guy in Western Canada? Reniger?
Uh-oh, they're coming to get you, Raul. Oh, man, are you in trouble now? So what's new in the world of terrorism? You got any more speed ships going? You don't have to worry. Obama's light on terrorists. You're safe. They're not going to tow you away or anything. Hey, what happened in Cuba? You know, my son's girlfriend is Cuban. She said they're going to let the people send money to Cuba now?
Yeah.
Her parents are still in Cuba.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. You need a hand, Jim? A little bit down, 1/16 of an inch. Not more than a 1/16. The flaps are up a little bit. You gotta hold it up, Mike? Yeah, you can't see the elevators when you have flapper-ons.
Yeah, it's okay.
I like the pilot. What do you make the pilot out of? That's pretty cool. He had a ping pong ball at one time. It's a little bit down, a shade.
It's a shade down.
This is nice how he did that to the painting.
Did he tell you how you did it?
Yeah, that's how they do Harleys. That's Harley stuff.
No, it's okay.
When we went to the motorcycle show, Mike, they had more stuff in paint. You could spend $20,000 on paint for a motorcycle.
Where'd you go to my motorcycle?
Javits.
When was it?
Joe and I went last month. Joe and I went, and we took a friend of mine that's, he's thinking about getting a bike, but he doesn't want to cough up the money. Now, I don't understand. He buys his wife a new Chrysler convertible and he won't buy a motorcycle. What's wrong with that picture? Buy her the car, and on the next day you go buy the bike and be done with it. You got the needle open 3.5, right?
That's where it ran. I think it ended up having to be about 4 to sound right.
Yeah.
How you doing there? You still the president? Or?
What a day. Soon to be known as Adamusco Day.
Oh, that's good. You spread the...
It's easy now. We run it by committee.
You got road jet fuel, right, Jim? Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
That's
Oh, yeah, it's easier when everybody fights things out.
Yeah, it's Mike. Maybe Mike.
Krug has it. I got to get it.
Oh, you talk to him or no?
Yeah, he'll deliver it. I'll have him meet me here at the field one day.
Oh, he has. Did you get your
All you need with Krug is money. You tell him there's money, he'll be in that car before he hangs up. He said he's got plenty of road jet.
Okay. I know when we talked last, we didn't know.
No, I called him. He said he has plenty.
I'll short tank it. I'll just throw 5 ounces at it just in case it's doing something stupid.
Yeah, mine had all kind of crap in the filter. I'm not going to spend money on changing the tank. Too much work. You know what you want to do? Oh, okay. This is pretty. I like the lettering.
Yeah. What is this plane again? The Impact? No, it's one of Randy's basically.
Oh, but you made it like a Gieske plane with the rudders, the little rudders?
No, this is.
Or is that the way it comes?
Remember about 2 years ago, the kid was flying it, came in second with it? Yeah. Kid and his father had the fire.
Oh, okay. Berry. Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's basically the Werewolf wing, not the Stuntcraft wing.
Oh, okay.
It's from the Novar, whatever.
Now this is all water-based paint, huh?
Yep.
Does it stink when you use it?
Not at all.
What's the name of it?
You don't smell.
In other words,
The colors
you
are order wear and
use
the clear
dope
I'm
on
not
the
telling
silk
you. You know what
span.
it does.
James, you use dope on the silk span, right?
Right.
Basic mainframe.
Basic is nitrogen.
I gotta watch those little rudder-oli. That used to the rudder-oli thing that's going on.
I'm going to leave, so if you see Bob Lampion,
Is Lampion coming?
give him my regards.
Oh.
To stay healthy. Huh?
He was in the hospital yesterday.
Another heart attack?
That's good.
Oh.
Bernie's issue and the burning cars.
I didn't step on you.
What's the matter?
Holy shit!
There goes the rudder.
Sorry about that.
Give me one at a
Oh
time.
my goodness!
I heard crunch. I said, what happened?
I didn't do that.
I'm gonna keep that one in my back.
I thought he put his hand through the fuselage or something.
Sorry about that.
I said, holy, I don't like that sound. We're all paranoid.
Yeah. As long as you know, hey, my plane's in.
It's not so
Drunk, I'm okay.
But even so, he's holding this plane. I could just see him.
Well, when you're flipping the prop and you hear a crash like that, well,
I don't want to hear that crunch anytime.
I don't know what my face looked like, but I felt like I would have been 6 years away.
You did that to me one time with a piece of ball.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, wow.
Let's see if it works.
What do you think we got?
Take the battery off. Okay, it's good.
Yeah, I had to backflip it the other day. I wanted my hand bad.
Oh yeah. I hope you got with that plastic spinner. The prop
Would be satisfying.
Just tell them no about that.
hey, there's all these things in town. I remember years ago, I was flying with a guy
Get one run.
lived out in Mount Jewel, once in the back. You get this big, nice paved, parking lot in the middle of nowhere.
Once you run this,
There's
it's fine.
nothing around. School buildings, half mile away.
Oh,
we're flying in
That is something.
fucking pony.
Why didn't the filter get wet?
And not one of them old Shetlands. It was like, you know, it was like a pony.
I'm afraid the flipper's gonna kill you.
You want a flipper for your finger? Or are you
Ponies.
I'm not that
I got an electric starter if you want it.
Kids on bicycles,
Nah, you don't.
trucks, cars.
You gotta be careful.
It's
I
got
flew at a
plenty of
place
fuel,
once
no
where
doubt
I
about
was
that.
and I'm doing loops, working on something. There's this guy standing right behind me. Got his hat on, badge on.
What are you doing here?
Yeah. Yeah, he fly. He said, just stay where it low. I don't want to let you know. But some people don't.
Boy, you gotta watch those elevators. They catch in your pocket. Those rudders. Jimmy Damarell's first flight. Rojet 67 that apparently was owned at one time by Brian Ether and somebody in Canada who I don't remember. And I think Jim's the third owner, but it's, other than being flooded the first time. But the only engine that started on the first flip today was Joe Adamusco's 90 on the first run. Other than that, it's still a little chilly. I took my flannel shirt off, but it's still chilly here. I don't want to delude myself thinking summer's really here. Mike, does the wing look up inverted a little bit? Look at the wing inverted. Looks up just a little bit inverted. Small amount. One click on the ball length.
Is it up now?
Looks up both ways. Like it could use a 1/4 ounce of tip weight, maybe? I don't know how much Jim's got in there. It's definitely up inverted a little bit. Doesn't sound like much is wrong with that motor. If those guys were crying about the motor. He could give that one to me. I'll put in a Spitfire right now.
This is first flight?
Yeah!
This is pretty much on rails. So.
This is a motor that somebody else couldn't get to work. They were having problems making it work. I don't know. I don't know what the story is. Not gonna speculate.
I think it's up both ways.
That looks just a hair up both ways. You know, you really can't tell unless you get here early in the morning, but because the air is bumpy right now.
It's bumpy.
But it's not horrible, it's just that it's probably ever so little. If Jimmy could get out here early in the morning, we'd get a flight in the good air and I could eyeball it. I was amazed at Joe's plane. First flip it starts, and he had 6 flights right in a row without touching anything except the needle valve. Absolutely boring. Boring, 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 boring. Brian, when I picked up the car, the battery was dead. They had to jump start it.
Not uncommon.
So how do you check the oil? Oh, here's the oil dipstick, okay.
See? And you don't touch that.
Don't touch. It's in Spanish, by the way. Or what is it, Portuguese? What language do you guys speak? Cuban? It's the same thing, right? What language do they speak in Cuba? English or Spanish?
Spanish.
Spanish, okay.
Looks nice. Just the way the
Yeah.
covers to make it all.
Oh yeah, it looks all pro and
You
everything.
get like Lexuses and everything, and Mercedes.
You don't even see
whole
it.
thing,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. that doesn't inhibit the airflow? Well, they don't depend on the air to go do anything.
Actually, it might even
And this
help.
is the air intake here? Yeah, it's cool.
There's an air filter.
Brian, when you get in at night, you go out at night, you hit the button. I counted them, there's 16 interior lights. They all come on at the same time. It looks like a Las Vegas casino inside.
Auto shut off, lights and all that.
Yeah, God, there's buttons and beepers going off.
Spend time with your owner's manual. To get
Oh, spend time.
Check the transmission what it is.
Transmissions on.
How do you think about it? Raul, would this make a good terrorist vehicle? Could we put bombs in it and go get towed away illegally or something? I like these headlights. Look at these headlights, bro.
Yeah.
You should see the headlights on the R1 are projector beams. They're this big. They're like an egg. Yeah. You turn the headlights on at night, you can see 1,000 miles down the road. Very cool.
You know, it's my car.
You got the same car, right? Similar?
Right. The headlight, he go down, the Kia. And I need to go to the dealer to put the light.
You can't put them in yourself?
No, sometimes they can be a pain in the neck.
Oh, yeah.
This shouldn't be a big.
That's what Brian likes, is a car that you have to go to Brian to service. See, as long as I have this car, I have to be friends with this guy. I have to give him things. I have to take him to dinner.
This is Toyota now.
As soon as I get an old car, and I can dump Brian. Brian goes under the bus.
Don't touch that.
This
Yeah.
is
Don't touch it. By the way, you guys are all greasy.
This is easy.
Did you shave today? What the hell is this? Shave. Look at even Rich shaves. This is made by Roadjet. It's a Roadjet. Don't look at that. It's a Roadjet. I wish I could get a Roadjet decal for that.
Well, why don't you put down
Roadjet.
Your next project will be a carbon fiber
GMC.
version.
Carbon fiber. I'll make this out of carbon fiber.
GMC.
No, forget it. Forget it.
Nice.
Yeah. First one I had in 16 years. It better be nice.
You have a choice, black, silver, red, green.
This was the only one with Michelin tires. The other one had Goodyears.
That influenced your selection.
I like Michelin tires, yeah.
Okay.
It's probably
Black.
made here.
Black is
assembled
good.
here.
Well,
Yeah,
assembled.
I had silver or black. Those were the two
Like,
choices.
If it's Nissan made in Japan, it
Well,
starts
you
with a
gotta
J.
keep
It
it,
starts-
but,
Now look, the problem is it's never going to get better than today. You're going to go home and screw something up. I know that.
That's what they say.
You'll trip getting in the garage.
It's the best one, you know?
You got, this is a day I wish I had with my new plane. When I come out, there'll be junk in the filter, there'll be
That's why I
props
follow
loose.
you, Lee. You're leading. You figured it out.
Maybe
You
I
said
should
this
be
is-
following your lead. I don't know, we got,
Thanks for the help.
okay, my boy.
We'll see you guys.
Safe trip home, guy.
Okay.
Now, is that still a 4-stroke in there, Mike?
It is. Finally got it fixed.
Did you put it on the right line? Jimmy's got a hard point handle and he's trying to adjust the thing with line clips, which can be difficult or disorienting, at least to me anyway, at this point in my life. I put it on a short line. I shimmed the tank the wrong way. Oy, oy. Now that engine was personally rebuilt by Suzuki Enya, or whatever the guy's name is. What's his real name?
Himself Ken, but it could
Ken Enya?
Ken Azenia.
Yeah, it could be something really wacky, Enya, and he's just trying to act like he's American. I don't blame him. I'm Japanese.
What'd you say?
One push rod was like a banana.
He had banana push rods in his 4-stroke.
One bearing was gone.
Holy mackerel.
Piston and,
we
and
talked
I think I'll stick with Roadjet.
That
well,
did
it
not
was a
sound.
cam bearing.
Yeah, oh
It
yeah.
wasn't a main. You didn't change
I
it.
remember kept saying it sounded weird.
Well,
Does it sound
turn
different?
it. It's still.
You played with 4-strokes, turn it. You're a mechanic. You get paid a lot of money to lie to people.
The manufacturer felt that it was fine.
Ken Enya thought it was fine, huh?
I've
Yeah,
had 4
I know.
strokes. They ran good. I like them. They're good.
Yeah, you want to buy this plane?
We got a deal for you, John. Maybe we could sell this to Billy. Hey, Billy, you want a 4-stroke? Just like a dirt bike. You ready to fly?
Yeah, I want to just see if I can get my wings level.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Well, I got 20 more minutes, so I'll hang out with you. And Brian's got to get his phone call from the Pope saying if he's got to go to church today or not.
We're gonna do it. I mean,
Or
it's
not.
gonna be
I
this
only need
afternoon.
one flight to do this, I think.
Brian, it's up to you. Do you want to go move the van now, or do you want to stay and watch the flights?
You got time to do it tomorrow?
We can do it whenever it's convenient for you.
Why don't we do it tomorrow?
Yeah, we got a few minutes more before the action has to cease and desist, and then we have to go do housework. Get to see this fly one more time.
Yeah.
Ken Enya, I like that name. I guarantee you his name ain't Ken. Uh-oh, Ken and you juiced you again. There you go. Looks upright. Look upright to you, Jim?
If anything.
A little bit, if anything, yeah. Very. That's what yours looks like, just about that same amount. We'll see when it goes inverted if it changes. Uh-oh,
It
uh-oh.
always does that.
I don't like
Every time in the flight it does.
You can't really tell if he doesn't get it down.
Yeah, I know.
When it's that high, it's not a fair test. It looks a little bit up. Same amount. Actually, it looks exactly like yours. Like it needs tip weight. Did you do your tip weight by putting a scale under the tip, or just?
I built a heavy box to begin with, a box of 5/8 of an ounce, and then I got 1.5 ounces in it where he's saying an ounce.
Yeah, it should be enough.
3/4 inch offset. Sure is a sling of the tip, not that he's turning it that tight. Tight enough, I don't see the tip swinging out.
No. Well, all he was looking for was a wing level, right? Yeah, it's bumpy up top. Well, it's almost lunchtime already. What the hell time is it? Yeah, it's all. Scuderia Ferrari says it's time to go. It's time to go. We've had 5.5 hours of fun and games with Joe Adamusco. Actually, Joe, Rich, Jimmy all got their new planes flown. Oh yeah, he was thrilled. I don't know how much better of a day you could have than what he had. Boy, this thing makes some. This thing makes some funny burps along the. What does he have? A bottle tank in there?
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
He loves those bottles.
Yep, better him than me. Give me a ordinary Vico-shaped tank. Forget the bottles. Well, Noel likes them too. Noel's a big bottle boy. I never heard Big Jim say he liked bottle tanks.
And he tried them too. He never made
No, I know he tried them. I know. Save your money. Oh, I don't like that at all. Boy, that.
Last time I saw it fly, it only did it the first transition inverted. But today it's doing it every.
It probably isn't hurting anything, but it gives you a little heartbeat there that you don't need an extra little heartbeat, you know?
It's like flying a diesel. You can do it with the fly.
Yeah.
Of course, that was an hourglass.
I don't know. Not sure. Well, boy, it certainly turned out to be a great opening day at Yankee Stadium without having to pay the $75 for the tickets. And lose 10-2, yeah. That's the ultimate kick in the ass. I guess the motorcycles are all out today in full force, huh?
So now it just ran out?
Yeah, it just physically runs out of fuel and then he has to land it. Yeah, it's all guys our age though. Young kids are too busy playing computer games to do this. Well, it is about all we're going to be able to stay for today, but it's been just an absolutely phenomenal day. I'm not sure it ever gets any better than this. And we hope you've enjoyed sharing the great adventure of opening day 2009. Jimmy's gonna hopefully get one more flight here.
Now they come in from that side over there, and they walk around.
Now we're looking for Jimmy's wing being level here. That's really the reason we stayed too. John just had to introduce a few people that were walking out on a field to the Italian way of doing things. He had to introduce them to organized crime. Yeah, the woman was really nasty. She was getting all upset. I thought she was gonna have a heart attack. I'd have to go over there and rescue you from. They got testy. We told them not to walk out in a circle, and they stopped. I know, John. Don't lose any sleep. Hey, just forget about it. Something was in the filter. Because he didn't needle it twice in a row. So by now, the stuff, whatever's in there is out. Because the whole first flight, it stayed dead consistent. Didn't change at all. Mine even had junk in a filter. You can't stop the dust and dirt in a field, even yet for a year. Impossible. If you flew under hospital conditions, it'd be different. I mean, you realize how little pressure there is sucking that fuel? It's only a couple of PSI. Still looks up inverted, still looks up, it looks up both ways. Do you agree, Brian?
I didn't pay attention inverted.
It looks a tiny bit upright and a tiny bit inverted. As if it could use more tip weight. But you know what the problem is? It's an asymmetrical plane. It's not going to take more tip weight. It's probably going to be at the point where that's all the tip weight you can stuff in there. And Jimmy said he's got more than 2 ounces already, so. You know, with an equal wing plane, you can just put more tip weight, but when it's asymmetrical, oh, it gets touchy. So good first day, huh? Boy, Joe left with a smile on his face, huh? I'd like to be a flea on the wall of his car on the way home. That Windy doesn't know anything. That Datavio, he ought to go to a nursing home. That Brian, what does he know about cars? What is that? What do any of us know about life itself? You mean there's been a problem you can't diagnose in the allocated time that Nissan gives you?
There's been a few, yeah.
With all the modern equipment you got today, you think you could diagnose it right away.
They gotta learn how to use the equipment.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you got to talk to Peabody. Peabody will tell you his machine.
Let me tell you something. We have his machine, and
What, Jim?
Is it?
Time a lap. You got a timer? Mike's got it.
What did he say?
He wants a lap time. Mike's got it. What'd you get, Mike?
5.5.
Yeah, it's a little slow.
5.5.
You ready to pack it in too? Are we all packing it in or what?
Think this enough?
Yeah. And now if it's too much, you'll know. It'll drop a tip. I'd always start, because why would you want to do this 4 times? Get it over with.
Yeah, I know.
But I gotta go, you know. It's time. Karen makes lunch at 12 and I gotta be there.
Okay.
That gives me 5 hours of quality time.
I just wanted to make sure I didn't need to...
Now it's the first time this year the fish are coming up to eat. Look at this little guy's coming up. They were coming up. I think I scared them away. First time this year we're getting to see our fish as the water's still pretty cloudy. Now this is what I started talking and the battery went dead. This is what's nice about, we're already in the shade, the leaves are coming on the trees, and we can, I wanted to take the, do the normal maintenance that we do. I want to clean the filter a few times, back flush it. We did have some issues with the filter here today. And of course the plane sat the better part of the winter, in fact the whole winter. So I always believe in the spring, a little tightening of everything after that first day out. Everybody's prone to just want to go flying. I like to do a little maintenance. As we're doing our maintenance and having lunch, we noticed the birds are going in and out by the drain, so there's a nest up there, and we gotta, oh, there was one flying by. They're making several nests that they're within range of where we are. I don't know if they laid eggs yet. There's a couple up there, and there's a couple here where they go in and out. And this is what's nice about our backyard now. We just sit here and have a big salami sandwich, hang out, do your airplane maintenance. This couldn't be any nicer. Yeah, she's making a nest. Nesting materials. Look at this. They're taking nesting materials. How cool is this? Sit here having lunch and I'm watching them nest. Boy, we really enjoy this. Look, we're sitting here. And as we're sitting here, just what happened to that salami sandwich? It must have blown away with the wind.
You go to that. More like, that's why I say like a bar mitzvah type of thing, the wedding, where you go up to. Wedding, a lot of times they do.
It's like being in heaven.
We set up a station.
Nice.
Nesting materials everywhere. Very funny. It's very funny. Very entertaining watching this action. They fight over nesting materials.
Did Rob eat something besides steak?
Yeah.
Oh, there she is. Oh, she's up there. They go up into the nest. Nesting materials. They're cleaning our yard. Now, I'm not sure how this works in nature, but the two birds going up, obviously one's the male, one's the female. They don't ever have to worry about gay marriage and bird them. But here's the thing, baby. They're making a nest. And we're just sitting out here eating and hanging out and drinking Pepsi-Cola and looking at them. And it is absolutely fun. And when they're not busy, up here in the other house, underneath the eaves, they're making a nest. And over here, underneath, in that little corner of the roof, they're making a nest. So it's just a great day to be outside. And boy, Joe Adamusco had himself the day of days. Unbelievable. Now, it's great that we had such a good day yesterday, because today you can already see look at the leaves blowing behind the feeder. The wind is howling. It's supposed to rain, but we're going to do what we're going to do today, we're going to take the my van, which I'm donating to John DeTavio, up to his house, and Brian's going to try to do some of the work on it, and we're going to try to get John squared away with a transmission. But the first thing of any morning is fill the feeder, Wendy. Fill the feeder and stop being a baby. And boy, congratulations to Joe Adamusco on a fly. That is the best fly off the bench first flight day I've ever seen in my life. That's unbelievable. So Brian's here. We're going to drive. He wants to drive the van and see if he can come up with anything. And it still drives. It just never goes out of first gear. So we're going to run up and donate it to John DeTavio. I put all the seats and all the poles and everything, but again, we're hoping he can get a couple of years out of it anyway. We're going to find out. Just like it's brand new.
My point is, maybe if something's just stuck.
Is this the kind of thing where you take a hammer and tap it to the modulator? You know, and when you drive it, it may not be stuck in first gear. It may be stuck in second gear, because you can go 40 miles an hour without the motor screaming or anything.
So you never feel a shift at all?
No, there's zero shifting. Zero. Well, on our way to John's, at least they haven't sold my vet yet. I'm not sure who would want to have that brown top Why wouldn't that be black? So it would be black and yellow and match Tribute. Now that'd be the perfect vet. If you had Tribute in the back somehow, take apart plane, put it under the hood or something. Black and yellow is the way to go, baby. Brian's trying to diagnose out here on a highway to get this thing to shift. Come on, Brian, fix the damn thing. Actually, John is really looking forward to having this vehicle. He really is excited. Hard to believe, Brian's out on the road, about 15 minutes to drive up to John's house. And he's been doing, I don't know what, stepping on the brakes, stepping on the gas. He's got it shifting. But they're still gonna work on it, John. We're gonna give it to John. John's gonna work on it, and hey, we'll see. Always glad to help John out, boy. If anybody doesn't know, he is truly one of the icons of the event for anybody that's my age. And I'm glad he's getting this vehicle. Hey, I'll tell you the truth, I'm glad I got this guy. Maybe we both won on this, I don't know. Well, believe it or not, we made it. Now, whether it's gonna stay fixed, stay broken, get worse, get better, I don't know, we're not sure. I don't know if John is even home here. I guess he's not even home. The great adventure continues, and I don't know where this is gonna ultimately wind up, but we'll see. Now, the next thing on our list is we want to try to make a rack, and I've got Kent's drawing. Maybe try to improvise. The idea is to get all of this stuff that's here underneath on the floor over here, and then have 2 layers of aeroplane. Now, Kent gets 3 in his, but the problem is, and maybe his is the same, this gets narrower as you get to the top. It's fine here, but as you get up, it gets more and more difficult to wiggle a plane in. So I may have to, well, I got Kent's drawing out here, and he put dimensions on it. I'm trying to use his dimensions, and he suggested even make them a little bit smaller. So, well, needless to say, I got a jigsaw. I started cutting pipe. I got out the big Makita saw. I'm not sure which one of these is going to be the first choice, because I just wanted to rough this out in the beginning and see if I could come up with something that was an upgrade. But if I can't, I'm just going to copy Kent's drawing. Now, see, the first thing I wanted to see, I don't care about anything. This is the tallest thing that has to go back here, is the fuel jug. So I want to see what height I have to get. Well, that looks like it'll be fine. This is not the longest of the planes either. Now, the problem with putting them in like that is they really go way over the seat, and I'm not so sure that's the right way to do it either. Maybe it is. Maybe not. I just don't realize it. But getting a top one in is going to be a problem. So, again, Kent's got a good system here, but I was hoping mine would be just a little bit different, that I'd only have to get 2 planes. So I guess what I should be doing is making the back ring the way exactly how he shows it, and then just trying to improvise and seeing. I'm fooling myself. I'm just going to have to try to make something very similar to Kent's, because I can see right off the bat, this is going to be a lot more difficult than I thought it was in the beginning. And after cutting up a bunch of these lengths of tubing, I'm just not happy with the way this is laying out with what I'm trying to accomplish here. But I did come up with another idea. Since I have some 45-degree elbows, the old way I used to contain this, and I may not be able to do this because it's going to require a little bit of a different way of doing Kent's. But since I got so much of this stuff already cut up, I'm going to make like a jigsaw puzzle out of it and see if it'll work. Well, idea number 2 wasn't exactly what I had in mind. I'm not giving up, because I really think for my purposes there's going to be a better way to do this. See, what I want to be able to do is I want to support, Kent supports the plane totally differently. I want to support the plane pretty much the way I did underneath the wing, where the gear are, and behind the fuselage, somewhere right around that area. But again, when you start laying this out and you have a given area and a limited amount of hard points to attach it to, it isn't as easy as you think it is. Now what's funny is by turning this on an angle, it makes, see, I want to lay the plane not straight. Kent lays them straight and back. I'm more comfortable with them that way. Now what's nice is because they have these seat hooks, I got somewhere to grasp it. I've got one on each end, in fact. So I'm just looking for, well, the next idea on this. Actually, this, I don't need to have that leg that long. That's the next thing. But once I build this, then I can just go to the next level, and just make this 3 levels high. And I think this will be, well, we're going to find out. Talk is cheap. We're actually getting buried in parts here because making all these final adjustments is really not as easy as it looks. It's a lot of adjusting. It's amazing how messy this gets after a while. It's just a lot of trial and error fitting. It's unbelievable. It's really is frustrating getting everything even because it's got to be relatively even and square. And obviously we want to put the whole thing together as a dry fit before we do anything, any gluing. Now the idea is I want to build the second layer of this, and then of course see how that's going to work. Now it's funny, every time I assemble this, I cut 7 pieces before I get one that fits that I'm happy with it. Now, and just what I'm trying to figure out here, and I don't know if this is going to matter, is if I'm going to need a piece in the front, again, until I mock this up. This is like drawing plans for a plane. You draw all plans you want, but I like to see it in real life. And I want to be able to slide this in and out. That's why I've made it a few inches thinner than Kent's. And by cocking it on an angle, it lets me put the plane in on a 45-degree angle. It saves at least some of the space. This is pretty funny. I thought when I bought the tubing, I'd need 2 pieces. So I said, well, I'll probably be sloppy. I'll buy 4. Well, I bought 5, and then I may run out of tubing at the rate we're going. But this looks like it'll be, well, we're going to see in a few minutes. Looks like it'll be one of the best choices. Now, another thing, for anybody who doesn't understand or know about PVC pipe, PVC pipe comes in several thicknesses, the wall thickness. And for a rack like this where you want it to be solid as a rock, what I want is Schedule 40. See, it says Schedule 40 there. Schedule 40 pipe is really heavy duty. For making this kind of rack, and a thing you have to do, and believe me, don't glue anything. Mock the whole thing up, and then I'll sit and glue it and get everything 90, but I learned the hard way. Well, I did this in the past, and I started gluing a button, and all of a sudden I had to take it apart. Once you glue it, you're married to it. This PVC glue is you know, forget it. You're not getting it apart not without the saw anyway. But what a sloppy, this stuff, this powder blowing, because it's gotten real warm, and the powder's just blowing everywhere, and it's static. Anything PVC is staticky. It sticks to you. It's, you know what? I'm complaining a lot, but once I get this rack, I'll be able to go to the field with 2 planes and still have seats in the back of the van. Karen will be so happy. It's just a dry mock-up to see. See, Kent puts the planes in straight up and down. And what happens, you can't put this, I can't put the seats up. These planes are too big. Maybe Kent's plane is smaller, I don't know. But when I tried that, now this, I can move this back, not really because I'm at the edge of the van, but I can take more of an angle. Now see, the advantage of this is I can take this and turn it, which allows the plane now to do that. Now the plane is in, you almost could put that seat up. If that seat, well, I'll see. We're gonna find out the hard way here. But, you know, you're so used to being a GC on all these jobs. She's the GC on my rack job.
But the seat can't go up, you're too close.
No, but that one in the back probably can when we're done. But I'm gonna have to bring out each one of the planes and make sure they each fit in here. I mean, what good is it you get all done and one of the planes doesn't fit?
And instead of taking the planes, why don't you just measure the wingspan?
This is the biggest of them. This is the biggest, longest and everything. Now that's looks like it's going to be fine for the first level. Now I have to figure out where is going to be the most convenient thing to attach the second level. The tools can all go on the bottom, the first plane. Now what I'm going to do is put this back in the van and see I got to do like a dummy fit of pull that in and see where the pipes would be the least obtrusive. And that's why the Schedule 40 tubing is so nice and solid. Now we've been adjusting the third level 2 inches at a time, and I can come down I think 2 inches more, and it's going to make loading a plane in just that much easier. But so far so good. And then I want to look at the last thing. I want to see if I can attach this the way Kent does to the roof, maybe with a T-fitting here or something. Now nothing is glued, everything is just press fit. Once I know I'm going to be happy with it, then I'll start at the bottom and glue one little piece at a time. Karen's loving being in management, huh? Supervision. She's in supervision. Now what I'm doing is shortening this 2 inches at a time just to get rid of some of the extra material to make it easy to get the plane. We've got it to where we can get the planes in and out, but it's not the most convenient thing in the world. And as I'm shortening this, it gets more and more convenient. What I wanted to do is get this piece that kind of course you can't have it in the way. And that holds up on the top, and that'll keep it nice and steady out of, we hope. Time to glue, and now the race is on. Let's see what happens if you don't get everything lined back up before the glue dries. It's all crooked. Yeah, this looks pretty good. Reasonable anyway. And now the last piece is this support that we have that goes to the roof, and we'll be done. Now our hard points are zip tie points on the floor and one up there. And getting the angle of this support right was kind of critical. But luckily we brought plenty of pipes. Now the thing is to let all the glue dry and make sure we haven't gotten something out of alignment. And that's the final rack. It goes in and out relatively easy. We have the pipe insulation to put on top of it. I want to try to paint it, but I don't think paint's going to stick to this. What I'm going to try to do is wipe it with acetone once that glue dries, and see if I can spray it with Rust-Oleum or something. And then the last thing will be attach the pipe foam, and pretty much that finishes that project. And it's already starting to get cold here. I went in and put my winter shirt on. Chilly. But we got a ton of scrap, but who cares? And whatever fittings we have left over, we could return back to Lowe's. But if you decide to make one of these, whatever amount of fittings you think you need, multiply by 3. Because you always goose some up. At least I do anyway. But in the end, it's a nice, I think that's going to work. Now Karen's right, I'm putting a second coat on this. We're trying to come up with a name for a van, Men in Black. You know, Rich calls his car Zelda or whatever, everybody's got a nickname. Anyway, Rust-Oleum. Seems like Rust-Oleum is the way to go here. And what I did, I wiped this down with acetone. I'm just going to put on a real good wet coat so I get good penetration. Tomorrow this has to get covered with the pipe foam, but at least this will be underneath. And as I thought it might, it's getting cold. So we're basically going to let that dry and give it maybe one more coat to see how that dries up. But this is the product that works every time, Rust-Oleum. And here I bought a case of this because I needed to do, well actually the other thing I need to do are all these flower pots, a second and third coat. We tried this plastic paint, didn't work that good. Rust-Oleum always works better. Well, we're anticipating going down the field tomorrow morning. Possibly meeting Billy. He was at a race today, so we don't know if he's going to be able to make it. But wanted to get down there. I'm not going to be able to use the rack till tomorrow because I want that paint to dry. I don't want to get any paint inside the van. But it looks like when we get this done, everything from the seats back will be tools. We're going to have to get a little bit shorter container. Believe me, this gets to be serious stuff. It's not as easy as you think it is to figure this out. You think you just throw it back there, but using that area and get all of this stuff back there, and then we hopefully will be able to use our 2 back seats, which is one of the things Karen really wants to do. Because again, we never had with the Windstar the ability to carry, you know, if we went to dinner, we always had to take the little car, and well, now that we have a new car, we're celebrating, I guess. That was a big job today, big job. And as one final thing, 2 days or 3 days at latest, our bike is already in inventory. We're already dreaming about getting it in here, and boy, did we do a lot of work on this garage to get it to this point. And that pipe foam has to go on, the rack has to go in, and there isn't going to be 1 day to spare. And by the way, this is what I did. I just went and bought a case of this stuff. That is so good. We got all our planters, and we're already out at the fly-in field. We're already starting to ride the bike on a regular basis. And thank you, John DeTavio, for a great job, help, whatever you renovation, whatever you want to call this garage. And let's see how the weather is tomorrow. Maybe we'll cut a break. We'll get a break. Who knows? Well, we're up real early this morning. There's Billy Sargent's coming down for some fly-in with us, and we're 1 day away from picking up our motorcycle, so we wanted to get a lot of little shop work done, get that day squared away and cleaned up. And the fly-in season is upon us, and I'm already getting into my routine of getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, the reason we get up so early is pretty simple, and maybe this works for you too. Because usually we can get an hour or two of decent air, even though today is supposed to be rainy, windy. We're going to take a chance and get down the field and just hope we can get an hour. And usually you can get an hour. You know, looking at the clouds, looking at the birds here. And I'll get the van loaded up, and Billy's already left his house. He's about an hour away from here north. I'm still not used to the dashboard on this thing. It's like a 747, and the lights never go off. You drive around, as soon as you turn the key on, the dashboard lights go on, and you're flying a 747. Boy, this time of year, I can't even tell you. That's the downtown of Rutherford early in the morning before the sun comes up, but here's the bad news. It looks like the wind is already up. And when the wind is up this early in the morning, not many good things happen. Not often, anyway. But for Billy, it's the only day of the week he has really off. So we're going to see what we can get done, and if nothing else, we'll pay a visit to the other wild hogs that are probably up there doing something illegal. And every day on the way to the field, I wonder how long it's going to take him to sell his vet. Now, last year they had a couple of Z06s out here, but you can see here's our indicators. Not a real promising morning, but you know, in our case, we take what we can get. He arrives! Billy's here! But you know what? Crappy day. We're not going to get any flying in. So, Billy's first day at the field. Yeah! It's getting colder by the minute, too. So how's it feel to own a nice, shiny new vehicle?
I don't know. It's part of the
Why don't you drive it?
Why? No, I ain't gonna drive it.
Oh, this is the other one, huh?
That looks cool. You flew this already, obviously, right?
For about 3 years.
Wow, that's nice. That's a...
Yeah,
what kind
I
of
got
engine
this
is
from
this?
Braddock. This is a Golden Bay.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now you got half a fuel for this, right? You got high nitro fuel, like 25%?
20%,
Yeah, 20%, yeah. Whatever, yeah.
Yeah, I fly these, and I can...
Yeah, but by his house, there's a ball field. By us, we got nothing. We got a pile of rocks here.
Yeah, this thing flies level. You could walk into the plane, let the line go slack, the plane will just fly.
Really?
You take a step.
You
back.
can fly this in my backyard on the pavers, probably. Karen would like that.
Yeah. I have even smaller ones like this where you fly on like 15-foot.
Banjock has that little biplane.
Oh, yeah,
The thing is
what
like
about
10.
that little one?
Yeah, that little tiny thing. Yeah, like 9-inch span or something.
But it's cold.
This is some nice car. I didn't notice how big this. I didn't notice when you had this in my yard. This is a big car.
This is a big truck.
This is what I travel in.
Yeah, obviously.
Big trailer.
Wow, this is nice.
Full of bikes.
Big wheels.
I just came back from the racetrack.
You pull the trailer?
Yesterday.
Yeah, well, the trailer has the motorcycles, right? Is it a closed trailer or an open?
Enclosed.
Enclosed. Okay.
Yeah, with cabinets and
tire
warmers.
Look at that.
Okay, let me get a battery. You always want to have a can of this lighter fluid around, you know that. On a cold day like this. Let me turn it over. I want to show you how to do this.
It's already primed.
Put a little bit of lighter fluid in there. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. When it's cold like this. That's it. That's it. Let's see if I'm right. I guarantee I'm right. That should be charged. Right on the money. Well, it looks like our Billy's first fly-in session with the Wild Hogs gets to get rained out. It's really coming down now. Well, it isn't because we didn't try, but it looks like we lose today. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this ARF, which has already been repaired, get Billy's spare motor in it today. So we'll have a spare plane, a spare motor. Here's a magazine for you. Take that, put it out with your stuff. And this is our project of the day. You got the spare K&B from Brian. We're going to get this set up so we'll have a spare plane as soon as the weather clears up out there. You got to learn to polish harder, baby. We got the motor in there ready. He's got a spare motor, a spare plane. What's not to like? Being part of this windy stunt team. Using nothing but rebuilt parts. Oh, we got Billy his second plane for his Air Force. We worked a little bit on his story that's going to be in the magazine. And what we're waiting for now is some better weather. Now, because it's raining, I forgot to take in the rack this morning. And I need to bring it into the shop, dry it off, and I can start putting that rubber insulation on it anyway. Looks like it dried up pretty good. But it's been a crappy day all day. I don't think that, and it's supposed to rain tomorrow, so we get some shop work done. Well, considering the rain, considering it's dry, I gotta wipe this off before we get the pipe foam on, but I think that's gonna work just fine. Now what it is, this little piece up here that looks like an exhaust pipe, this bolts to a hard point in the car, and I made it flexible enough that where the foot mounts are, I can zip tie it and maybe have some flexibility there. Now, I know this is different than Kent's, and I don't know if this is going to work better, worse, or the same, but the next step, and I have the pipe foam. This, of course, you can buy at Lowe's, Home Depot, and it's spongy on one side. It already has a slit in it, and I'm just going to tack glue it on. I don't know what kind of glue. I guess the first thing I had to do is just wipe this down so it's nice and dry. Now, they say into every life a little rain must fall. Into every rack a little rain must fall. I guess they're right. But I guess we got to start off with this dry before we start cutting and gluing foam. And again, I think the Rust-Oleum worked, well, as good as you could ever expect. And Karen was right. It really looks ugly in that white and a purple glue that they give you to put it together with. Actually, I was hoping it wasn't going to rain all day, so I could work out in the garage, but it's miserable out there. This is probably going to be easier to do if I was outside, but anyway, we want to put the pipe foam on in such a way that, and I'll have to do this, I'll have to do a little test to see if this is going to really be exactly what I want it to be. But I got, as always, if you think you need 2 pieces, buy 4 or 3 or whatever. Now, if I remember right, I want to leave this out just a little bit bigger than it normally would be. Now, the trick is, you can buy this foam in all different diameters, except the bigger diameters are made out of a harder material. Maybe that's the way it all is, or if there's some better material, but this so far has been fine in the past. It splits open real nice, and you can just measure it as you need. Now, I don't want to glue anything on until I have this set, and then I want to use the minimum amount of glue that it'll take to just hold this here. And this keeps, if you happen to hit this with the rudder or whatever, just keeps it from taking a beating. And of course, the more of the rack you can actually cover with foam, the idea is, in the case that you just happen to have a little accident or a bump with a rudder or a wingtip or something, that you don't bump into the hard material. I haven't figured out what glue I want to use to hold this on yet. Now, if you just left it with no glue, what's happened to me in the past, this has twisted and turned. So that really wasn't choice one. And you only need enough glue just to keep it from twisting and turning, because it's nice and soft when you're done. Now, the whole idea of this thing is to use the minimum amount of glue to leave this side overhung. In fact, what I'll do is now, with a relatively new blade, trim this, just so I don't have a ratty edge. And then the minimum amount of glue I can use will be fine. What I'm trying to avoid is getting way more glue on this than I have to. Let's see how this works. Hey, it's always famous last words, as you probably know. I just want to put one bead right across the top. What I thought I'd do is I'd put some kicker inside here. See how that works. And then kind of babysit it in place, because I don't want any hard plastic edges showing. Now, there's still one piece of this puzzle you have to solve. When you put the planes in, the tip weight side is always going to be on the outside, and it's going to want to do this. So I have to come up with some way to keep that from happening. And I haven't figured it out yet, or else, yeah, that's good. So what I'll do is glue this rubber on with thick CA and kicker, get it all glued up, and then start figuring out the two things is how I'm going to hold that wing down, or if I'm going to put a restraint on the nose, or that part I still haven't figured out. Now, just as a redundancy system, I'm putting a zip tie on both ends because the zip tie will give a little valley even if this were to rub over you, but I don't want any chance this is going to turn, say in a long trip to Muncie or Brodax, and then I wind up with, by the time I discover it, there's a hole in the wing or some other problem. So just a nice tight zip tie on each end. It gives us a redundancy system as well as the glue, and that should work pretty well. Now it's just one other little tip I can tell you. After I cut these off, this little edge is like a razor blade. So I'm going to go down, once I get all of the ends tied up, and that really is a good redundancy, I'll go by with a little nail file, a Bud McKnight sanding stick, and just cut the top edge right off of that. Just get that, because I can imagine there'll be a time when you're somewhere and you're in a rush and you forget, especially taking this in and out, that would be like a razor blade. Now what I wanted to do is start fitting in the various models, but I wanted to show the issue with the tip weight that we have, and it's something that I need, the next part of this is I need to come up with the solution. Now let me just show this, because this is, once this is put in, and no matter where it resides, of course you could, one of my first thoughts was to put a rubber band around the landing gear. And I wanted to see how that certainly seems like a possibility. But the other possibility that makes more sense to me, and I may try that too, actually for the top model, that thing around the landing gear might be the better of the two choices. The other choice was going to be to put a piece that comes off, otherwise this gets to be difficult to put the models in place. In other words, what happens is you're sliding this, and it's great that I don't have the van to have to deal with you. This gets slid in around all the other obstructions. Now, once that's in place, you know, the more I'm looking at it, maybe the landing gear is the way to go. Maybe I should just put, while I'm ahead here, the landing gear seems to be a good choice. Now what I would need is a small bungee cord of some kind, and a little piece of foam rubber to keep it from, and I could get it from that side, of course. Maybe that is the answer, I don't know. Now the second one, on the second rack, of course, because we cut this down quite a bit, it should be relatively easy to get this side in. This side could go around. Let's go up around here, and let's see if that works on the landing gear. Yeah, it works fine too, but I don't like having it grinded in like that. Let's see if we put the landing gear on this side. See what's going to happen if I don't do this. This side's going to go up. It's going to go up and down. Now, if we didn't have the landing gear, here's just a demonstration of what happens. Because we have, and my planes more than the average have a lot of tip weight. Yeah, we have two real decent choices. One is to come up with something for the landing gear. And this is not a good choice because this doesn't really fit the way I like. Then that's what makes this challenging. So, let me figure out more than one way to do this. If I did it with the gear on the inside, actually the answer would be small bungee cords. And some foam rubber, or, those cloth things to tie it. Okay, maybe that's the answer. What I used to do is tie it around the propeller, but I really don't have to because the glow plug digs into this rubber. The glow plug on the motor digs in nice. Almost makes a solid attachment. What I'll do is I'll get some towels or some microfibers and cut strips of microfiber. Well, I have both, so I can make both. I think just tying that landing gear leg in there is going to be, you know, and here's another thing too. Sometimes, a lot of times what happens is the simplest way you can solve a problem is the best way. Not always, but let me cut some strips and see. And what I did, I cut this. This is microfibers, and I was trying to get rid of all the little fuzzies off of it. What would really be nice would be if we had this would really be the ultimate thing, is to have something like this with Velcro that you could go. Carrie, do you know if we have any Velcro upstairs? Since it's by the landing gear, a little piece with Velcro, well, I could get some anyway. That would, no, we don't have any, but that would probably be the best answer of all, would be microfiber. Even this microfibers, nah, not really. Not really. That's why you have to try it. But anyway, let me see if I can make a loop out of this before I want to get all those little fuzzadoolies off. Okay. So this will be fun. Let's see. It certainly will be the easiest way to do this. So we get the plane in this way. We can get it up over there. Press it up. I'm assuming I can get this from under. Yeah, I probably can. Oh yeah, something with Velcro here would just be perfect. That would really be nice. Now, the problem with this is not going to be long. Okay, so right away I've got a problem. This is not long enough. I've got to do it with a piece of toweling, because this is the biggest microfiber I have. So I've got to go into my inventory of towels and get something maybe 6 inches longer than this for the next part of this. Okay, so now we're at, ooh, as he walks into the camera, stage 2. We have something a mile long. And let's just see if this is going to have any potential. This will be nice and solid anyway. Now, when I go shopping, I'm going to buy, I hope, and Karen, as always, has the best idea of all, a black towel and some Velcro, those little Velcro things, which probably will make this as neat as a pin. This will work fine. This is as good as it gets. I just need another strip from another towel. This kind of, the glow plug locks into there. And of course we always have these noisy lead out issues, but that's a whole other issue. Okay, that's as good as it gets. Sometime if you can solve a problem without making it too complicated. Actually, now I just have to see if I can get the other plane underneath. Well, these are the two biggest of the planes, and that looks like, other than the Velcro and a black towel, I think that'll be fine. And the thing with this whole rack thing, it's more complicated than I thought it would be, and it actually took a lot longer than I thought it would, but I think the result is going to work fine. See, I won't really know until I get this out into the van itself and I see if I'm going to run into any issues with this hitting or banging into it. But since it's pouring out there, there's no point in fooling with it now. You can just write that off. Yeah, I think, looking at that from every possible angle, that's going to be fine. Now these planes are way bigger than the Tribute. So I'm not really concerned. And the Spitfire I know is the same size as the green Spitfire, which went in and out. But these planes are a little bit wider, especially the Testarossa with the wide body. I don't think that's even going to be an issue. I think we're in Fat City here. And for a rainy day project, that really worked out great. And we got Billy's all set to fly. Next day we get this. Look at this guy checking me out. Hey, he sees me. No peanuts for you today. No peanuts for you. Well, this is the start of what may be, and you never know in my life, it may be a very, very special day. I've been waiting about, well, it might be 2 months even by now, for my my new Yamaha to be delivered to the dealer. It came in yesterday, or the day before yesterday. I'm lost what day it is. And obviously I want to pick it up. I want to pay for it and pick it up. But the problem is they're anticipating big rain this afternoon. and it already started drizzling, and I don't want to pick up a brand new bike and ride it basically an hour before I get it home in the rain. So I don't know how this day is going to play out, but let me explain something why this happened, because it's funny, and I'm sure it's the kind of thing John Cafaro would get a big kick out of. Well, maybe you get a kick out of it too. Now, some people may not know this. Of course, this is old. This is like like old time stunt here, but it was way back in the late 60s, early 70s that I was highly involved in motorcycling. In fact, I was out of model aviation for 6 or 7 years. And I had gotten to it's 76, how lucky me. I had gotten my picture on the cover, had some stories about, because I was making custom bikes and painting custom bikes and knew a lot of people in the motorcycle, I guess the equivalent of Pampa in motorcycling, which for us was AMR, AAMRR. And it was club racing, and we really had a lot of fun, but there was no money, and we certainly weren't the highest skilled guys in the world. Now, of course, time went by, and in 1979, I got back involved in model aviation and immediately built the Sweeper. The first plane I had built in 7 or 8 years. The Sweeper number 2. So what's happened is, of course, years have gone by. I still had my 82 Suzuki. And I rode it a very small amount of time each year, but all during that time I'd look around at these new sport bikes that were out. Now see, the difference is years ago, back in the 70s, if you wanted a bike like this, you had to pretty much make it. There was builder to model rule. You had to buy the parts from England, and you had to do all this crazy work to make one. Anyway, nowadays you can just go buy one. It's as simple as pie. It's like an ARF. They take a race bike and they do a couple little things so that it idles and stuff, and they put it out, and it's basically a race bike you can buy for the street. It would be the equivalent of when Les bought his Z06 Vet. You just go buy it. You sign on a dotted line. There's no work involved in it. And I'd be watching as I was riding. I'd see these things going by. All the manufacturers make the equivalent of an R1. But I always liked the R1 the best. I always thought the R1 was the prettiest of the bikes, this type of bike. But of course, I didn't have one, so that was the problem. Now in 2009, and I was getting all the motorcycle magazines, they came out with a totally new R1. I guess totally new is not exactly the right word, but I really thought it was a beautiful bike at that time. I wanted to buy a Ducati, which was at least twice the price, minimum twice the price, and maybe 3 times the price. And I said, geez, here's my chance to have something I've always wanted for a third the price it normally would cost. I said, you know what, I went to the bike show in New York City with Joe Adamusco and looked at different bikes, sat on a bunch of them, researched out the prices, and I basically came to the conclusion that, you know what, I got to have one of these. And so I talked it over with Karen, and she said, well, you know, when we get the house, all the work done on the house, you know, that'd be the right time to get it. Well, we never knew we were going to have to buy a car. That kind of that came up unexpectedly, but we had always thought once the work on the house was done, I'd get the bike. Now, there's a small problem, of course. Now, you wouldn't think these kind of problems exist in the real world, but they do, and here's the problem in a nutshell. I had gone down to the dealer, and I knew these bikes came in 4 different colors, and I liked the blue the best, and Karen liked the blue. And so we said, well, let's try to get a blue one. Well, we went to every dealer around here. When they actually hit the showroom floor, nobody had a blue one. Everybody had the white, the red, or the yellow, but the blue was like some kind of collector item. And they weren't expected to be in for a month or 2. So I had to make a decision. And I said, do I want to have a bike? It's still winter. We're still working on the house. And so I fidgeted around a little bit, but I really wanted a blue one. And all of the dealers, at least in our local area, all of the dealers they even had this one. They call this one the Raven. It's black with flat black on the fairing. But I wanted the blue one. Then when I made the Tribute, the final paint layout, yellow and black, I said, oh, how cool will it be? I'll have a matching bike, yellow and black. But look at this. the flames on the fairing. And this color yellow isn't really the color that I'd like. And I said, yellow, I don't. And Karen made the decision easy. She said, you buy the yellow bike, you got to live in a garage. So I thought, well, live in a house, get the blue, live in a garage, get the yellow. I don't know. And as time has gone by, all the dealers have the yellow ones now, and they don't really look as nice as I like. So I was glad I didn't jump the gun and get this bike a month earlier. I waited, toughed it out, and waited. So then the original dealer that I bought the bike from, that I had gotten the bike from, said they're going to be in. This is about 2 weeks ago. They're going to be in, and you can look at one. We're going to get 2 of them. So I go racing down the day they come in, and they both were sold. Both had a deposit on it. So I said, oh my God, now I gotta go. This is getting ridiculous. So I basically left them a deposit on the next one that came in, not knowing if it would be a week, a month, a day. Well, it was yesterday. Now the reason I'm putting this on the video, and I wanted to explain this little story to people, there's 2 reasons. Because we're involved with Billy Sargent now, who's a professional motorcycle motocross racer. And he has the ability to, well, where his shop is, to work on these, get parts. He's a Yamaha dealer, of course, so that makes it very easy. Now, the other thing that changes the whole scope of this is, I want to make a stunt ship based around the R1. I want to use that color, and Bobby Brookins is already getting me to paint one. And I was trying to come up with some cowl look. I'm going to have to talk to Les Demet. Some kind of Testarossa-looking cowl with 2 big scoops like that. The paint job, I think we could use something like that paint job. We could come up with something pretty unique. I'm not sure, but just the fact that it would be the same color, that might be next year's plane you're looking at right now. I don't know. But here's my point. It's a point that, and of course, not everybody that flies has any interest in motorcycles. But what I found is, and it's very strange, I'm very surprised about this, that almost everybody that I know, and I add to this list every day. Dave Gardner, the Pampa secretary, just yesterday when he found out I was getting the R1 today, or tomorrow maybe if it doesn't stop raining, he sent me a big long thing that he's a real enthusiast too. And of course, many people. Joe Adamusco has a motorcycle, as well as, and Billy Sargent has 8. We may get his motorcycle collection on video soon. And Rich Jacobone just yesterday, while we were freezing at the field, admitted he really does want a Sportster. And I'm not sure Susan agrees with that, but again, it's not my problem. Now, it really won't matter much, you know, whether people really like motorcycles, don't like them at all, or think they're a waste of time. Because we're going to be trying to steal some ideas off of this for our next plane. And I have got an idea for a cowl shape in my mind that I think would be off the chart cool. And we already know you can make a body like the Testarossa that's way different than what a traditional body is. And there's no negative impact on the flying at all that I can see. And we're going to have, over the course of the summer, I'm going to be going to some of the cruise nights and bike shows around here. And I want to get ideas for next year's plane. So one of the first things that I did is I've started a little album with what I think is all of the cool paint jobs. And if anybody out there sees anything cool on the internet or anything, of course I'd like to share it. I'd like to see and just basically gather ideas, because we already did 2 Ferrari planes. Maybe this next plane will be a Yamaha plane. I don't know, but certainly the possibility is open. So we're ready, the little database is building, and we're ready. We're trying to see if this is a practical thing or not. So I just thought if you had a little bit of the background to this, it would be pretty interesting. Now, another, and it's not a related thing, but it's not something real important, but it's something that certainly is, I find interesting. These are the kind of techie things I find interesting. And it was very cool. John Pothia took this picture, which is a picture of the real, the real Yamaha rider, the factory rider, riding the bike and whatever on a racetrack, and he turned it into Windy. I thought that was very cool, and I have that as my screensaver just to inspire me. Now, another thing I was thinking of. See the exhaust pipes on an R1? I was thinking we could make a tuned pipe for sure. I can make a tune pipe that has that same, like a triangle shape. In fact, I'm making, as we speak, I'm making a custom double outlet pipe for tribute. So that's something. If we were going to do this Yamaha project, right, maybe we can incorporate some kind of dual exhaust like that coming out the back. I don't know. I guess this is gonna be an interesting year. Now, I read extensively about, this is the new engine for 209, and this really has nothing to do with model planes, but I think it's interesting. Most of the Japanese bikes rely on a 4-cylinder engine, and it fires evenly. Well, the Yamaha engine fires unevenly. It has what they call a cross plane crank. So it doesn't fire 1, 2, 3, 4. It fires unevenly as if it was two V-shaped engines. And of course, the technical thing, I have nothing to do with the technical stuff. It's just interesting reading it and interesting seeing how it was developed. And they use it on their race bike, and they've incorporated that technology into the street bikes, of course. Now, another interesting thing, this is their fuel injection unit, and you see these little things that look like the top parts? Well, what happens at lower RPM, the top parts come down and close down, so that in effect they have long stacks that charge the cylinders. Then at about 9,500 RPM, these stacks, a servo opens them up, and you have short stacks that flow more fuel. So it would be like if you had a multiple Venturi on a Rojetta or a Double Star or PA or whatever. But anyway, I love this techie stuff. I don't want anything to do with it. I want to turn the key and ride. Now, another little techie thing is the bike has a multiple piece. It's very high-tech aluminum cast frame. Well, there's a lot of carbon fiber on this bike. There's a lot of titanium. The whole exhaust system is made out of titanium. So it's kind of a neat thing techie-wise, but the real thing is, and there's really only one reason to ever buy a motorcycle. And I heard this from several people, and I've read this saying that the only reason to ever buy a motorcycle, the only purpose it serves in life, is how it makes you feel. And if it makes, in my case, if it makes you feel young again or relive some of those better memories of when my back didn't hurt, and among other things, and well, I don't know. I'm not sure. I need a psychiatrist anyway, but if I can get this today, and at worst it'll be tomorrow, or we're going to wait till the rain stops, because I don't want to ride a brand new machine in the rain. And there's just something about it. I got the garage all carpeted and ready for, you can just put him up on a center stand. I'm kind of excited today, but we do have shop work before Karen gets back. She's at one of our art classes, and I just thought I'd share that little intro to what may be the design of next year's bike. Anyway, it was a long time coming. Like everything that's happened in the last couple of years, it started out going left, it went right, left, and somehow we zeroed in on it, and somehow, despite all of the things that happened, it looks like it's going to come to fruition. Now, I guess there's something to be said about the world in general, that years ago things were very difficult. I mean, this bike here, I physically had to make the exhaust pipes on it. I had to lace the rims. The rims came from England. We had to make, nobody made the exhaust pipes for this. That seat had to be bought in England, the seat and fairing and tank. I painted everything, of course. And no, believe me, not two parts of that bike fit without a lot of grinding and sanding, and it was like a jigsaw puzzle. Well, and we had some fun with it, of course. And it got to be it was actually in 3 different magazines. It was on a cover of 1. It was on a cover of 2. What am I lying about? But you know what? It was difficult back then. And now the difference is to have something like that, or something not like that, something that's 100 times better and more reliable. You go down to the dealer and you just pay for it. And I guess that's one of the attractions of modern life to most people. Modern life is very easy in its own way. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you before I get back to working on the shop. That's where we're headed out this afternoon, and if it stops raining, the bike will come home with me. And again, thank you to John for making this great screensaver. I look at this every time I'm in the shop and every time I do my email and dream. And to everybody that does have some interest in motorcycles, great. One more thing we can share and enjoy. The people that don't, hey, it's no big problem at all. Just look at the styling and look at the colors and the paintwork, and the people doing that are probably just as creative as we are with our paint jobs and our technology and everything. And there is a lot of stuff that goes from one group of people to the other. And I find with every day that goes by, more and more people that fly model planes have some interest in motorcycling at some level. And I know before the summer's out, Rich Jacobone will have a Sportster. I would be willing to bet on it. And this is our custom, and because I'm thinking it at R1, I'm thinking a different way of doing this. If we're going to make an R1 model, is going to make a whole new pipe mandrel. See, what happened here is the JB Weld didn't make a good clean joint, so what I'm going to do is sand that down. But I like the idea, like the Testarossa, that it, see the way this sticks out the back, I think that's going to be a nice choice. We got the pressure fitting in already. And then what I want to do is, I've been trying to make a cowl out of John Brodak's mold for one every day or so, but sometimes if you let it sit in a mold for 2 days, it comes out a lot easier. But it doesn't really matter. We're not on a time window with that. But I do want to make a couple extra cowls for John. But I think that's going to look nice. Just something a little bit different. And every time we can. The one thing we can do is make custom stuff, carbon fiber stuff, one of a kind. Now I just want to make one little tip that may be worth knowing, or maybe worth having in your arsenal. Anytime you're going to put a second layer over it, in other words, you put some JB Weld down, and now you want to, in this case, I want to fill in that little hole, a little gap. You've got to roughen up if you want to have a really bulletproof, or I shouldn't even say bulletproof, just as good as it can be. You want it to be rough. And the manufacturer actually recommends the minimum 80 grit scratches. I don't have any 80 grit paper here. I've been using these rough nail files, the Bud, classically known as Bud McKnight sanding sticks. And I wanted to sand this down, get this coat of JB Weld on. And boy, as the day is playing out, it doesn't look real positive. It's still wet and drizzly and drooly out there. Now what's funny, the R1 has a switch that makes it harder to turn the throttle on when you want to, and it makes one mode that when you, these are cool little things, I guess a lot of motorcycles have them, that when you, if you're going to race, I guess, the throttle gets 1/3 quicker, and then when you're going to ride in the rain, it gets 1/3 slower. Well, that's real nice, but you know, I'd like to not get the bike wet at least for a week. Like my van, the new van, I didn't even want to get it wet when the day it rained and we were working on the rack. I didn't even want to go out there and open the door so water'd get in on the rugs. But that'll end about a week or two from now when we start really using it the way it's meant to be used. But that is an excellent tip for JB Weld. Now see, down in those low spots, I may have to grind this a little bit more. I don't want to have anything that's not touching. I want it to all be scratched so that it gets that epoxy tooth down there. Now it looks like, because this is that test material and it's very thin, I'm just not happy with, I don't know, maybe I'm getting too fussy. I'm just not happy with this material. I don't want to throw the pipe away, so what I'm going to do is just sand this down and give it a 3rd coat of resin. It's still lighter than a traditional pipe, but I'm just thinking it's not going to hold up in service, and that's one of the things that I sure don't want to have, especially in a relatively new plane, even though I'd probably want to fly this in a Spitfire first, or in some other plane that if it does fail, I don't get some catastrophic failure. So first thing I got to do is fill that hole with JB Weld, and then tomorrow I'll put one more coat of resin on this once that JB Weld dries. Now another thing about JB Weld, and I have found this to be true time and time again. I bought the 5-minute JB Weld for doing field repairs when I wanted to do something like this just to get through a test day or a contest or whatever, and that's fine. But it's nowhere near as durable in a high heat, like on an exhaust system, nowhere near as durable. it doesn't seem to stand the test of time like regular JB Weld does on these exhaust ports. I don't know why that is. I don't know if the formula is different or just the fact that you don't, well, that it's not made for high heat applications, because they don't tell you on a tube, of course. But I know one thing for sure: if time is not an issue, use the JB Weld. That's the stuff that dries overnight. Always sand it. Always hit it with a little bit of heat. Now in this case, I want to fill this hole, so I want to schmutz that right in there. And then I want to build up a little, even if I have to do this in one more step, I want to have a, I don't know what you would call it, a little cap over this. Well, we were hoping the weather would get better as the day went on, but it's not happening. And some days it just doesn't happen. Now a lot of times when you put JB Weld on like this, and I thought I'd show this, because a lot of people are afraid to put their own pressure fittings in pipes or whatever. Once you've made the radius that you want, or you're close to it, and that's always fun. I like to just scratch it up, scuff it up as much as I can. Let's see, I can get around the back here. And there's nothing to keep you from doing it in 2 or 3 steps. The only issue would be if you're in a rush to get back to the field, or if you were doing this at a major contest and you want it to fly tomorrow. The best thing would be put it out in the sun. It'll dry in about an hour out in the sun, but I don't know that you don't trade something away when you do that. I don't know for sure, but I know if you do it this way, you pretty much have a long life, very long life. In fact, some of the stuff, the pipe that's on the Testarossa for one, that fancy pipe, we made 3 or 4 of them, none of them have failed so far. And they've been in several models. Several people have even used them and borrowed them and tried them. And now, once it's on sloppy like that, and that's fine. And if you leave this step out, you lose on the bond. Because what happens when it gets thinner, it gets down into those cracks, the sanding cracks, and that's what gives you the nice bond. Especially if you're doing this where you're going over JB Weld. Now you like to have it, in a perfect world, you'd like to have it right at the point that you don't see a bubble. The minute you see a bubble, then you've gone too far. Now I haven't seen a bubble yet, so I can always reheat it a little bit. But once you see bubbles, the material is now too liquid, and then it starts to drip and drool on everything. We want to get one of John's cowls laid up today if I can. Again, we're in that thing where we're trying to use up the last of, let's hope it's the last of the winter-like weather where it's totally unpredictable. We should be coming into the season where every day it's flyable very soon. And now that Joe's got his new model flying, I think we're going to see Joe more often. He was excited about that day, by the way. It really was a good day. And thank God for the dollar store and 1,000 Q-tip for $1 packages, because I use them. Now we'll see how this looks. This might need, and I'm not opposed to even putting a 3rd coat on this, because this is a part you're going to see. And it's, I may have to put a 3rd coat. In fact, what I'm going to try to do is hang this upside down, so that if it runs away from, maybe that's not a good idea. And I got a little bit left over here. Let me get some up by the, I could put a little reinforcement up by the pressure fitting. That might be a good idea. Come on. But as with anything, if it's a used part, you want to get rid of all the oil. You want to soak it with M600. Sand it as rough as your 80 grit would be your first choice. That's what the manufacturers recommend. All epoxy manufacturers, 80 grit. I think what we sanded this with was 100, but I'm not sure. But if you understand that concept, boy, that makes fixing things a lot easier. And you know what I've done with JB Weld that I'll bet isn't up to code either. I fixed the water pipes in my rental property many times where there'd be a little tiny leak, and it wasn't a permanent repair, but it'd get me through a weekend or something like that. Or a drain pipe. A drain pipe you can fix permanently with JB Weld. Okay. Alright, but this is just one more little project, and every little project that we do, we try to learn something from. We try to see if we can make it better, or if I think there's something that would be of interest to the subscribers, I try to put it on. So we have a double, what may become a triple, the pressure fitting in. We got a pipe that's right now is 4 grams lighter than it should be. Would be, should be, could be. The reason is we have a carbon, 2 little carbon stingers are a lot lighter than the one aluminum one. That's number one. It's a double pipe. And with a pressure fitting, that adds a couple of grams for the pressure fitting, but we're still under what this would be if I made it with the traditional material. Problem is, I'm not sure until I run this for some amount of time that I know I'm not going to have an issue with the longevity of the pipe. And time will tell. In every one of these projects, every time we do something like this, at the end of it, we're just, I think, a little bit smarter than before we did it. A little more cautious of making things that are not going to stand the test of time. Now, as this mold has already released a few parts, well, boy, that didn't take long. Let me get the phone. Look at this. It comes out without even trying. Let me get the phone. Now, what I always, now that the phone call's over, I always wanted to show is each time you make a part in the mold, there's an amount on a microscopic level of the material in the tin cured rubber that comes off on the part. It's why it's sometimes difficult to get, and this one looks more than ever like it's sticking, but if you're very careful about taking it apart, and these little edges are like razor blades, so you really have to, at least I have to wear gloves and be very aware of how that comes apart. The one thing you never want to do, especially with a rubber mold, is just grab it with pliers and try to pull it apart. That really is not a good choice. This is the best choice of all. Just work it, work it, work it. And there's one more part for John's B25 project. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to make him a, ooh, this is the lightest one. We're going to make him a couple extra ones so he can, if he wants to cut engine holes or change things or move things around. But I'll get set up. I'm not going to be able to do it right now because it's time to go down and pay for this motorcycle. And it's still raining, so I'll get set up. But then when we get back to the shop later today, we'll lay this one up. And this is what happens at some point in time. You can make one a day, and I always call it the one a day syndrome. One every other day. It's definitely better to leave it in the mold overnight, extra little bit of time. When they're soft and you go to pull them out, sometimes they distort. In this case, we've used different material. We've used the S-glass. We've used S-glass and light glass. We use this half carbon, half E-glass material. And we've used, whoa, as he drops. And that's one thing good about these cowls. They're pretty durable. I don't know if I'd want to go throwing them across the room, but they are durable. And it's always nice, and I've found this to be true. When I'm cutting a cowl, a lot of times I cut it, and I say, oh, I went too far. And, well, if you have another cowl, you just use that for the pattern, put the first one over the second one, and trace out the new hole. It just makes it so much easier. So we're just gonna continue manufacturing these until we got 2, 4. Maybe we make 2 more. Hey birds. The birds don't seem too impressed that it's time to try to pick up our motorcycle. In fact, it didn't stop raining yet, so I may have to wait till tomorrow, but it's in, baby. And just like our new van, it's been a long time coming. It's been 27 years, going to be 27 years next month since I bought a motorcycle. It's a long time between motorcycles. So do you think they care if I have a new motorcycle? Windy, fill the feeder. Forget Yamaha. How about Birdseeds Unlimited? Fill the feeder. Do you think they care? I don't think so. They don't even know who I am. I'm an invisible man. She's on her way to Motorcycle Mall to pick up her bike, except we're not going to get it today. We're just going to pay for it. We're going to come back tomorrow because we have other things we have to do today. Oh my God, we're so close and yet so far. You're sure you don't want me to get you a three-wheeler?
That would be my speed.
Can-Am three-wheelers. Very cool. Karen wants a Harley. This is what Jacobone wants right here.
Yeah.
By the yellow one. No. It matches Chicky. Look at that. There's a yellow one right there. To see her bike for the first time.
My bike, right. My bike. Since I'm going to ride it.
You like that color?
Oh, it's gorgeous.
You think Midgley will like that color?
It's a major color.
It definitely is.
Beautiful. 31.
Okay, so it looks like we are the proud parents of a brand new R1. They need a new sign. Maybe we'll buy a jet ski here too. Don't think so. Well, our new flowering tree is just starting to have some buds after all the rain the last couple days. But now it's time to see if the rack fits in the van. Okay, here's our pet robin, Robbie Rebozo. Robbie, we gotta work on a van. I don't want you eating all these worms. Oh, look at that face. What a beauty. Now what I have to do with the rack is get a final fit, and then I need to somewhere find some containers, because this toolbox is of course too large, and I want to condense that. I'll use this for my motorcycle toolbox, and I'll get containers just like Kent has. And I need to figure out how I'm going to attach this to the top for the support. Now I have some real heavy-duty zip ties that Kent actually bought one time. We were looking for some real heavy-duty ones, which I think will be appropriate once I get this in place. And we spent a lot of time making this. This was a lot more time than I thought it would be. And here's a funny side note. I got the little manual they give you for the motorcycle. It's got more features of electronics. I can't even think, like 15 pages of how to work the all the electronic features. Just like this car, by the way. It took me 2 days to figure out how to get a CD in the I guess I'm just out of touch. Now, like Kent, what I'm going to do is double zip tie these into the two hard points. And by putting this in at an angle, you can see I've got the back seats up. So I don't know if this is really going to work. And I don't know if they're going to be able to put the back seats back any further. I don't really know. But this actually worked out better than I thought it would. And trust me when I tell you, this is not as idiot-proof as I thought this was going to be an hour or two project. And I wanted to get this done because tomorrow morning we're going to pick up the motorcycle, if it doesn't rain anymore. It stopped raining, but it sure looks like it's going to rain more. That's why I wanted to get this done. Now I wanted to get shallower, and I got to go get another. I'll get the Novanta just to see that everything fits. And for right now, I'm going to tie these up with strips of towel, but I'm going to get Velcro strips. And any of these, I want to have at least minimum of 2 zips. And I couldn't find, actually, Kent did get these real heavy-duty zip ties, and I don't know where the heck they are. They were twice the size. Oh, as I say it, there they are. Let me show this. Mr. Tyser found these on the internet somewhere. Here they are. And of course you can just buy bigger zip ties, but for our use, these bigger, they're way bigger. Let's show the difference. We were using these on tuned pipes where they constantly came loose. And they were rated for something, who knows what. But I got a bag of all odd zip ties that I use in my work. I think we'll convert over to the big ones. And that's it, baby. And our little exhaust pipe up here. Well, we are very close to having exactly what we want here. We need to get some plastic tubs. I'm sure that's not going to be a big deal, because this big tub is just too big and I got to break it down into 2 tubs. And we still have space up here. When I have 2 planes on board, I got to fold the top seat. It's not actually the seat, it's the headrest that's in the way. I've got some storage room over there, some storage room on the other side. Looks like everything is going to fit pretty good. But this was quite a project. And I hope if you're setting up a minivan, needless to say, that's one of the most common things in the world. This will give you some ideas of how Kent did his and how I did mine. I got an emergency alarm here. What's going on? Oh, I see them. Kathy's raising bunnies. Isn't that nice? Where are they? In Sue's yard?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Where'd they go?
One's under the chair.
One's under the chair?
The other ones are running
under
around.
the footrest.
See, under the footrest.
Oh yeah, look at this. Oh my God. We're living with wild animals. We could have an arm removed any minute now.
Look, see, this will be part of our block party video this year.
I know what it is. Kathy's feeding them mushrooms or whatever she's growing over there.
No, it's the new moss, which I love, by the way.
That is cool. Even I don't have bunnies in my yard. How cool is this?
No, you just had ducks.
I got ducks. Would you trade a duck for a bunny? Oh, that's great. Are you feeding them, Kathy? Put some food over it. Put a carrot. You got a carrot? They had 2 of them, right?
There's at least 2, but I think
There's another one. There's another one. I see him. No, there's another one in the back. In the back. There he is. He's on the other side of the mushrooms. Oh no, it's a man-eating squirrel. We're living in the wilds of Rutherford, New Jersey. Hard to believe. No wonder I don't get anything done. There's one on her front lawn. Look at this. Look at this. Kathy, I'd send them part of the tax bill. Look at this. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at this action. We're in rabbit heaven. Don't get close. They could take an arm off in a minute. There's 2 of them. There's another one.
Yeah, oh my gosh, look at him. See those dogs? They're Great Danes or something. I don't know. Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Okay. Cole, stay
What? Car's coming. Stay there.
Like what?
One of these hot rod kids. Look, he's got a custom plate. Tuck's Cat. Tuck's Cat, custom plate. So I'm looking around here. Rabbits are attacking me. I'm trying to figure out how I can get, I just got to get a material in here for now, for the next flying session, which will not be tomorrow, but for sure the day after, I hope. Pretty cool. Rabbits. We had ducks up here the other day. Oh my God, what a life. Now, a lot of this stuff doesn't have to be here. Like paper towels I could put, well, we got to get some like underbed storage, guys. Well, we woke up this morning. Today's the day we're supposed to pick up the bike, but again, looks like rain on and off all day. We're gonna try to sneak in between the raindrops. And I know I'm paranoid about it. I don't even want to ride this bike in the rain. I want to have at least one day where it doesn't have any schmutz on it. Anyway, the birds are out. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful weekend. The weekend coming up is just going to be spectacular. But we got a couple more days of this rain stuff going through. And our tree already has the beginning of the leaves, which mean the buds, I should say buds. Because what happens is, at some point in time, in the next couple days, all those buds are going to wind up in my pond. And I'll have plenty to do to keep my busy from, give me something to do, because I have about 30 seconds a day that I don't have anything to do. Well, the next thing I can do here is get another layup for John, get another mold in there. And I'm going to call down to the dealer and see where he is, if it's still raining there or if it's stopped, because I'm excited to get the bike. It's funny as can be, I got that, maybe I didn't even mention this, I got the booklet that describes electronic features. God, it's just like the Sienna. More features, beepers and boppers, and anyway, let me get this laid up for John, and then we'll see how the weather is. It's time. We're gonna fight the raindrops. We are gonna get this bike home today, one way or another. It's time, Ertnowski. It's time. You waited a long time. Well, we didn't exactly beat the raindrops, but it wasn't raining bad. Nothing. Got a few drops on the windshield, but we got it home in one piece. And boy, I'll tell you, this is one exciting machine to ride. It is very, very exciting to ride this. Now, problem is, of course, I got to ride 600 miles at what I guess you would call part throttle, under 7,000 RPM, where it doesn't even really start to make power. But boy, oh boy, it is a spectacular piece of equipment to ride. The other thing I got to get used to is all these electronics and select buttons. But I guess that's the fun of it. So who'd ever thunk? Here it is. I don't even know how to describe this, but he's got to get in a carpeted garage. I love the color blue. I bet Midgley will like the blue on this. I got to get him in his carpeted garage now, meet his brother, and we got to clean him up. After riding in the rain, it's always something a little messy. If the sun comes out tomorrow, we're going on a ride. Let it rain now. As well, it probably will. Boy, it was something trying to beat this. Now, this is all titanium. The whole exhaust system is titanium. It is really one fun thing to just sit on it. So now he has a brother. He's got to be introduced to his older brother here. I don't know. I hope they're going to get along fine. Anyway, I want to get this wiped down. There's still some, well, I want to just look at it. And then I'm going to get back to the shop and finish up the day's work. In the very beginning, I really didn't like these graphics, but they've grown on me. And the thing we waited the 2 months, a month for, I don't even know how long it is, because this is the color I really like the best. Anyway, and then we're getting back to our shop work. Unfortunately, nobody does it for me. Now, I finished up the day's work, and I decided I'd look at some of the features on this. And you know what? I can't even figure out. There's more selects and sets, and there's a stopwatch, an odometer, a gear selector. It has different driving modes. It's got all these lights, a shift light. I'm making myself crazy. And what I'm doing, I'm reading a book, and I'm going page by page and trying to figure out if I've got it all right. Oh, but I'll tell you, this is one sweetheart of a machine. This is just unbelievable. Now, it's too late in the day, and I guess what happened is, we just got home in the nick of time. You can see what, I've been home over an hour already. In fact, I got to run up to the post office, but I think I'd lock myself in the garage and fool with the motorcycle. We're definitely not going to go flying today, that's for sure. And what happens, hit a bike, I don't even have it 2 hours, and I've already got the tools out, and it's not really that, it's like setting a handle on a model plane. I want to get all the clutches and everything adjusted for my personal style. Boy, I'm telling you, this is one beautiful piece of machinery. The more I sit here and look at it, and I sat here and had a cup of Travaglia coffee and just admired how nice the workmanship on this is. It's really a beauty. And we're supposed to have a weekend where it's going to be really nice and summery. We may get to put some miles on it.